Over the years, the city of New Orleans has hosted the Super Bowl 9 times, and in February, it will be number 10. CBS is your home for Super Bowl 47 at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome, and that's where we join you from tonight as the Houston Texans take on the New Orleans Saints, two teams with legitimate Super Bowl aspirations. And we welcome you to the broadcast booth. Hi, everybody. Ian Eagle in for Jim Nantz, along with Phil Simms. Great to be with you for another year of the NFL on CBS. 3 years ago, the New Orleans Saints were the feel-good story, not just in the NFL, but in all of sports. They win the Super Bowl. And here we are now getting ready for the season, Phil. There's a lot of controversy that this team is dealing with. And let's go perception versus reality. Perception, adversity, distractions. What's the reality?
I think what you're saying is you and I, when we came down here, we thought we were going to see a team and a franchise in chaos. Well, that was our perception. The reality was that was not the case. After a couple of days of being here, you can see they're organized. We talked to Drew Brees. What did he say? It's business as usual when you talk about this football team. And also he said something very interesting. He said, Sean Payton taught us how to deal with adversity. Well, I think this classifies as a little adversity. So far, they're handling it very well.
All right, let's talk about the Houston Texans, because this is a new situation for them. They make the playoffs last year, and now the questions are, will they take that next step as an organization? That's a different kind of pressure that they're dealing with. Can they be that team to take the next step?
Well, I'll say this. It's a good kind of pressure when people expect you to do well. That means they think you have the talent. I think they do. When you look at them, Matt Schaub is back at quarterback. Missed last year with that Liz Frank injury to his right foot. It is definitely not a stretch to say that they would have had a chance to go to the Super Bowl if he would have stayed healthy. What does Matt Schaub do very well? I think he has excellent touch, throwing the football down the field, deep down the field. That's a good thing because he has this wide receiver named Andre Johnson. He has the experience. He is ready to go to the Super Bowl.
Defensively, Phil, a huge jump for them last year thanks to this man, their coordinator, Wade Phillips. It was a completely different look on that side of the ball.
It really was 30th to 2nd. I argue with people all the time, and I don't like to argue.
No,
that's not my thing.
No.
But coaching is so important in the NFL. How do you go from 30th to 2nd if Wade Phillips is not a big reason why? He did a tremendous job. The players love him, and that defense is good.
Well, you mentioned coaching. The New Orleans Saints face a very unique situation right now with their coaches, and we're going to get more on that story from the third member of our broadcast team as we head downstairs and bring in Leslie Visser.
Hi, Ian. Well, some people in America tonight might be saying, who dat? 45-year-old Aaron Kromer, the offensive line coach, will share head coaching duties in the interim for interim coach Joe Vitt, who will miss the first 6 games of the season due to his role in the bounty scandal. Kromer said his mission tonight is just to hold the fort, just to provide continuity until Vitt returns. Well, he's never been a head coach before, but Ian, you heard Drew Brees tell us he will be an NFL head coach shortly.
Well, Leslie, he learned under Al Davis and John Gruden with the Oakland Raiders. He said that he learned the right way about preparation. If you pay attention in this business, then you learn. And that's a good viewpoint to have for Aaron Kromer as he takes on this challenge. Houston has won the toss. They've elected to receive. Thomas Morstead will kick it off to the former LSU track star, Trendon Holiday from Zachary, Louisiana. We're underway from the Superdome. Over the head of Holiday. Houston will have it at the 20-yard line. And Matt Schaub. Phil, you talked about his ability to toss it down the field. He has put up big numbers, limited to 10 games last year. They were 7-3 in those starts.
Yeah, definitely a quarterback that's gone under the radar for quite a few years. And you talked about it, that injury to his right foot, missed the end of last year, missed all the offseason conditioning and OTAs. But he's been there for training camp, rusty at the start. But Gary Kubiak said he's been sharp the last 2 weeks.
They met in week 3 last year of the regular season. The Saints got the win. Schaub went for 373 yards and 3 touchdowns. The throw on first down makes the connection. Schaub got Owen Daniels, his tight end. And a first down throw covering 16 yards. Casillas, the linebacker, with the tackle. Let's take a look at the Houston offense. On the offensive line, strong group, but some changes on the right side. Right now, Gary Kubiak says Derek Newton, his second year from Arkansas State, has the upper hand on Rashad Butler at tackle. And backs and receivers, Arian Foster, 5 years, $43 million deal. And Foster has been the dominant running back in the NFL over the last 2 years. Here's Shaw, looking to throw under pressure. And underneath, he connects with Andre Johnson out near midfield. And another first down for Houston. Defensively for New Orleans, a lot of question marks coming off Bounty Gate. Can they handle it with losses like Will Smith, who will miss the first 4 games of the season because of suspension? They have been crushed by injuries at middle linebacker, so they've shifted Jonathan Casillas over to that spot in his 4th year from Wisconsin. But they're very happy with the development of Malcolm Jenkins now in his 4th year, becoming more of a leader at that safety spot. No Jabari Greer tonight. Johnny Patrick gets the start. Shaw, safety valve. Garrett Graham breaking tackles, and Graham is forced towards the sideline. But another solid gainer for Houston, 6.5 yards through the air.
You talked about a lot of things about this Houston offense, and they are mixing it up starting this football game. We saw the rollout, the screen, trying to throw the football down the field, and you hear it all the time. 3rd exhibition game. This is a dress rehearsal, and truly both of these teams, that's what they're doing tonight, treating this like a regular season game.
Now we're seeing the young receivers here for Houston, Keyshawn Martin and Lestar Jean both in there. Handoff, Ben Tate is in. Tate hits the hole hard, and he's got a first down. Tate, everybody talks about Arian Foster, and rightfully so. Tate went for 942 yards on the ground last year. He's got that downhill running style.
I'm not sure if you're the New Orleans defense, just talking to the players and coaches, they don't know if there's a difference. There's a different style. Foster, maybe more of a glider, can really get those big plays, but Ben Tate, he's powerful, runs low to the ground, and tough to bring down.
Houston moving the football here, opening possession, 1st and 10 for the Texans. Tate remains in there with James Casey in the backfield. Just underway, the Texans and the Saints. Here's Tate, little stutter step, and Tate dishing out some punishment as he takes it out near the 30-yard line. That's a 7-yard rip. Good block on the right side. Antoine Caldwell and Casey helping out, creating some space.
Well, let's watch James Casey. He's going to come over here and make that lead block, and it's a dual role. Number 86. He's a little bit of a tight end, moves around, shifts all over the field, catches the football, but also good enough and tough enough to be the lead blocker. That just gives them a lot of options on the offensive side.
Texans averaged a franchise record 154 yards per game on the ground last year. That was number 2 to Denver in that category. Schaub throws incomplete. Matt Schaub looking to thread the needle. Andre Johnson, the intended target, and Patrick Robinson, the young corner, 3rd year from Florida State, over there in coverage.
Yeah, it's a good job by Patrick Robinson. Matt Schaub saw him, so he threw it low into the back of the wide receiver. Otherwise, it's going to be picked off. The Saints defense, not what we've seen in the past. A little more cautious, trying to make the quarterback hold the football a little longer.
That was the first play for Houston that did not gain at least 7 yards. Schaub again fires incomplete. Johnson wants a flag, and he'll get 1. He'll get 2, in fact. Scott Shanley, the linebacker, over there with Andre Johnson. So the first penalty of the night, and we will hear from our referee, Don King, for the first time.
Interference on the defense, number 58. It's a spot foul, automatic first down.
It did look like a good play to me, but of course I'm 100 yards away. Coming over the middle of the field, number 58, the bottom of your screen. And that's pretty clean. You know, the NFL, it's not like college. You can put that opposite hand on the body. You just can't turn them. They turn him in.
Schaub throwing, wide open Schaub. He's got Garrett Graham inside the 5. A 3 tight end formation, and they cover 26 yards.
Well, it's a pretty good job here. What they're going to do, Graham's just going to go down the seam. The defense is back here. They throw in between it, and it's an excellent job by Matt Schaub. He's going to look it off. He knows he's going there. The New Orleans defense, oh, it's a mistake. Patrick comes up, plays short outside. He's supposed to be back and deep.
First and goal for Houston. Tate gets the carry. Tate keeps the legs churning, and Tate waiting for the signal. He's in. Touchdown, Houston. Tate knifing his way to the end zone, and the Texans are on the board first. Impressive drive to open things up.
Well, it's everything you want. You run the ball, you run your play actions, you throw a screen, you got the benefit of the pass interference, and you take advantage of it. This Houston offensive line, zone block, look at everybody going to the left, and Tate, see why he's going to be a good goal line runner. Tough, gets down low, hard to tackle.
Extra point. There is a kicking battle with Houston, and Randy Bullock, the rookie out of Texas A&M, fifth-round pick, on for the point after. Drew Brees is going to get his crack at this Houston defense when we come back. Texans lead it 7-0. This is the NFL on CBS. Eight plays, 80 yards, and they made it look easy. The Houston Texans with a 7-0 lead on the New Orleans Saints. Randy Bullock kicking it off to Tavares Cadet, the return man, and Cadet is dropped short of the 20-yard line. Got hit by Jonathan Grimes on special teams. Drew Brees and the New Orleans offense when we come back. The New Orleans Saints, defending NFC South champions, 13-3 in 2011. The number one offense in the NFL, number two in scoring at 34.2 points per game. They find themselves in a 7-0 hole. First time they've touched the ball, and a 1st and 10, just short of the 20-yard line.
Mike 5-4, ready. You ready?
A lot of weapons on this Saints offense. Brees, deep drop, little floater, connects with Pierre Thomas, who turns it upfield and works the sideline. Gets hit by Jonathan Joseph on the play. Close to first down yardage. Brees, 5 years, $100 million. And you and I, Phil, having been here now for a few days, he can do no wrong in this town.
There's no doubt about it, and there's a good reason why.
And that might be one of the reasons up top. Henderson got his hand on it. Kareem Jackson. He has come back with a lot of confidence in his third year from Alabama. Jonathan Joseph, we had a chance to talk to him. He's really been impressed with Jackson in training camp.
Typical New Orleans Saints offense. Let's throw a screen. Let's get Drew Brees into the game. Hey, let's take a shot because we take 10 of them a game. But you said it right, Jackson, along with Jonathan Joseph, they got two good corners, and Jackson's play just gets better because he's learning from Jonathan Joseph. His confidence is high, and that helps on the field.
3rd and 1. Handoff, staying on his feet. Ivory coughed it up. Houston claims they've got it. Chris Ivory busting through for a first down and gives up the football. It's recovered by Glover Quinn, the safety.
Excellent blocking up front. He starts to stumble, Chris Ivory, and that puts him in a tough position. Oh, and he's going for that extra yard with his hand on the ground, and it looks like it is a fumble. Boy, that's just overpowering blocking up front by the Saints offensive line. Boy, Ivory was in a tough position there too.
Well, the knee never hit. He went horizontal, and Quinn with the stick and the recovery for Houston.
Well, and just remember, this is a turnover, called a turnover on the field. So it is, the coaches don't have to worry about throwing the challenge flag. It will be reviewed.
So Chris Ivory, 3rd year from Tiffin.
And then, you know, Chris Ivory, you're down here in New Orleans, and there are a lot of running backs that want a shot at that football on that Saints offense. So when you get carries, you get chances, you got to make it happen.
And we know in the NFL the concerns over head injuries, and it looked like Ivory had his bell rung there. They're checking him out. It's a turnover, 1st and 10, and a clean one. Houston's got the football at the New Orleans 40-yard line. Play fake, job to James Casey. 5-yard gain for Houston.
Boy, Houston does it so well. They don't put a lot of pressure on their offensive line over the years. Ever since Gary Kubiak has been down here, it's kind of the same offense he brought from Mike Shanahan at Denver. Move the quarterback around a lot, screens, get him outside the pocket, let him throw it, and that makes it tough on defensive linemen to zero in on the quarterback.
Double tight end set with Daniels and Graham. Foster in the backfield for Houston on a 2nd and 5. Foster looked like he was stopped and a flag down. He ran into his own man. Derek Newton was trying to get a little push up front. It's a loss of 3 as Harper was there defensively.
75 the offense. It's a 10-yard penalty. Replay 2nd down.
And again, hearing from Don King, I'm going to make a statement right now. I will make no Don King quips for the entire night.
Well, that'll be the first person in the last 4 days you haven't taken a shot at, so that's good. It is good.
It's too easy.
It is too easy. You're right. But, hey, talking about Derek Newton, the right tackle, number 75, in a battle with Rashad Butler, number 78, who's going to be the starter. So this is Newton's first chance of starting. They like him. He's big, 6'6". They like his athletic ability, and it's his chance to win this job here tonight.
Could have been 3rd and 8. They chose 2nd and 15, New Orleans defensively, to back up Houston a bit. Schaub slings it, timing play, and hauled in. A battle for the football as the youngster Gene was able to get his hands on it against Patrick Robinson. It's an 18-yard pickup, some pushing after the play, and a flag comes down. Lestar Gene, 2nd year out of Florida Atlantic. He was on IR last year with a shoulder injury, and they are very high on Gene and Keyshawn Martin.
After the play was over, personal foul, number 21 of the defense. Half the distance to the goal line, automatic 1st down.
So here we are, week 3 of the preseason, and we still have the replacement officials in there.
Well, you know, I'll go back to Lestar Gene making that catch. Ian, what a job by him. Good job, protects the football. Doesn't let the defensive back come in front of him to make the play. 2 areas concerns coming into training camp. Right side of the offensive line and wide receivers for the Texans. I think they have fixed both of them.
New set of downs for Houston. Tate hauled down in the backfield. Tate couldn't break away from Scott Shanley, the 10-year veteran. Loss of 5.
We'll talk about it as we go along. Scott Shanley changing sides tonight. Number 58. Watch how he plays it. Oh, he doesn't. He just reads it, shoots the gap, and makes the play. But the linebacking core decimated, and it's a big deal down here in New Orleans. Steve Spagnuolo, the new defensive coordinator, his number 1 guy on defense that he counts on, the middle linebacker. They've only lost 4 of them so far.
Loss on the play, 2nd and 16 for Houston. Deep drop, pump fake. Schaub on a dump off for Tate. Tate turns it upfield, accelerating to the 10-yard line. Chris Myers with a good block up front, and that covers 9 yards on the catch and run.
Man, what a job. Just think what Matt Schaub has done so far. Great throw down the field to Lestar Gene. A lot of screens, moving in the pocket, just well orchestrated so far by this Houston Texans offense. We have 2 teams here tonight. They're arguably the two of the top 5 screen teams in the NFL.
Schaub also a terrific play-action quarterback. And a 3rd and 7 now for Houston. Out of the gun. Schaub, pumps, Schaub lobs it up. Caught, touchdown, Keyshawn Martin. Texans add to their lead. What a clinic this has been on offense.
Well, it was a good job. They get confused inside. And what happens when they come across, Malcolm Jenkins gets in the wash. He drove on the receiver, and he took the wrong angle, and that's why Keyshawn Martin is wide open.
Martin, a 4th-round pick out of Michigan State, brings speed after the catch ability, and we have seen the multi-dimensional Houston offense on display in this first quarter. Randy Bullock with the extra point. The Texans, a quick 14 on the board against New Orleans. 10-yard touchdown catch for Keyshawn Martin. Matt Schaub is lighting it up. 8 of 9, 103 yards, and getting everybody involved, Phil.
Yeah, how about that? 7 different receivers. Well, not only they're good, they're deep, they got reserves. That's why they're one of the favorites to make it to the Super Bowl.
Bullock kicking it off. Courtney Roby, the return man. Little stutter step. Roby's got some room. And pushed from behind. Out across the 35-yard line by Sheriff McManus. 34-yard return. 14-0. Houston in front. CBS Sports has delivered many years of reliable and award-winning fantasy products. Premium Fantasy Football lets you compete against top players for up to $4,000 in prizes. Start your team today at cbssports.com/premium. These would be pretty good fantasy numbers. I'm not sure if people have gone to that next level of preseason fantasy football. Handoff, Mark Ingram getting the carry. And he picks up 4 yards up the middle. Alexander with a hit. Let's take a look at the New Orleans offense. Just one change on the offensive line. Carl Nix is now in Tampa Bay. Ben Grubbs, who went to the Pro Bowl with Baltimore, is that left guard for the Saints. Backs and receivers for New Orleans. Jimmy Graham. Boy, did he ever break out last year. 99 catches, 1,310 yards, and 11 touchdowns at the tight end position. 2nd and 6. Ingram stays in there. Breeze, play fake. Breeze throws. Lunging grab made. Lance Moore. He knows how to work the middle of the field. Scrappy wide receiver. It's a 14-yard hookup.
Yeah, just an excellent throw. Lance Moore coming across the field. Good close by Jonathan Joseph. He's in a good spot, back of the hip, but you cannot get in front to make that, to knock it down. Excellent, right on target throw by Breeze.
So New Orleans moves into Houston territory. They fumbled on their last possession as Chris Ivory took a big hit from Glover Quinn. 4-receiver set. Breeze, short drop, and a quick hitter. Devery Henderson. Danielle Manning with the tackle, 14-yard gain. Defensively for Houston, they're down a couple starters. No Sean Cody, no J.J. Watt. Expected to be back for week 1. Tim Jamison getting the start at defensive end in that 3-4 look. Linebackers, no Brian Cushing, so Mr. Alexander, one of the best names in the NFL, is in there. And in the secondary, Jonathan Joseph went to the Pro Bowl last year in his first season in a Texan uniform. 14-0. Houston in front. We approach 5 minutes to go in the first. Breeze gets rid of it in a hurry. Marcus Colston. He just knows how to get open. A big target. Now in his 7th year in the NFL. Very close to first down yardage for New Orleans.
Well, now they're going. This offense is just so diverse. They do so many things. That time, it was a screen to the left. You see people coming across, but their first read is to throw it inside. If it's open, take it. Drew Brees did.
And it is enough for a first down. Now inside the 25 of Houston. Breeze on a handoff. Ingram tried to veer to his right, and he got cut down low by Glover Quinn. It's a gain of 4.
Well, you know, that time, that blocking up front, it's a spread them out. They do everything with the pass game, and they're also able to run the ball with power. And the fullback, when you're watching Collins, Joe Vitz said it's the best blocking back he's seen down here in New Orleans in the years he's been here. So that's saying a lot.
Pierre Thomas back in for New Orleans. 2nd and 6 for the Saints. Breeze pumps. Breeze to the end zone. Caught. Touchdown, Lance Moore. Flag is down. In a matchup with Kareem Jackson.
Interference on the defense, number 25. Penalty is declined. The result of the play is a touchdown.
Phil, the chemistry that Drew Brees has with his guys is off the charts.
It is. It's tremendous. They got the Houston Texans defense. They got them retreating. And anytime you get inside the 30-yard line, if you're on defense against the Saints, look for the vertical passes, especially inside. They love them.
Kicking battle in New Orleans as well. Garrett Hartley in a battle with the veteran John Casey. This is Hartley who knocks it through.
You know, Ian, going back
False start. Number 66 of the offense. The 5-yard penalty still remains the try.
They're so good. That touchdown, what we saw was a throw. The defender's right there, the back shoulder throw. New Orleans has taken that type of concept and just done more with it than anybody in the NFL.
Drew Brees, NFL record 5,746 yards passing in 2011. You're still shaking your head. You know the number, and it's still eye-opening.
I think he's still shaking his head, too.
46 touchdowns, by the way, last year as well, as Hartley gets the extra point. Brees to Moore. They've cut the Houston lead in half. Six plays, 65 yards for the New Orleans Saints. Culminates in the Moore 20-yard touchdown reception. Combined 13 first downs between these two teams in the first 11 minutes of action. Morstead will kick it off to Trindon Holiday. Holiday has a 90-yard kickoff return for a touchdown in the preseason against Carolina. He's bringing it out. Holiday stacked up, and he loses the football. Touchdown, Saints! Junior Galette on the scoop and the score. Wow!
Trindon Holiday on the return 2 times in his preseason. He has taken it all the way back, but that time Abdul Quddus makes the hit and brings that football out. Gary Kubiak said for him to make the team, what did he say, Ian? He's really a returner, so he has to be special.
And he said so far he's been special. But Holiday coughs it up. Issa Abdul Quddus, second-year safety out of Fordham, forced it loose. John Casey now in, and he converts on the extra point just like that. We are tied at 14, 2 touchdowns in 9 seconds for the New Orleans Saints.
I'll tell you what, Junior Galette, he picks it up. He can run about as fast as a running back. He's an outside pass rusher. That's good. Well, an exciting moment. Good crowd down here enjoying it so far.
We have packed a lot into a very short period of time here in this first quarter. That's a 16-yard return for the touchdown. And the Texans and the Saints are knotted up at 14 apiece. 3:54 to go in this first quarter.
Well, a couple minutes ago, Gary Kubiak was sitting over there going, this is just how I wanted the dress rehearsal to go. We're really sharp. We're doing this right. Now he looks up and it's tied 14-14.
Well, Trindon Holiday trying to make this team. He was on IR in 2010 with a thumb injury. Practice squad most of last year. He's dealt with injuries. A track star at LSU.
Yeah, he's returning kicks. Ian, he's also running down, covering kicks. They say he's doing a pretty good job there. And Gary Kubiak said that Holiday is actually, if they need him, he can play a little wide receiver and fill in there too. So it's been a really, really good training camp so far for Holiday.
Well, we've got to give the numbers. He's 5'5", 169 pounds. Morstead. What's Holiday going to do? He's going to take a knee. Texans will have it at the 20-yard line. So Houston busted out of the gate with a 14-0 lead on the New Orleans Saints. The Saints get a touchdown as Brees leads them down the field. And then they get another touchdown on special teams. And here's Matt Schaub, who's had a spectacular first quarter so far.
Yeah, you and I were talking about Matt Schaub just during the break. It's amazing, really. He's an unknown to a lot of the fans out there. Why, I don't know. Maybe because Houston, he didn't get to play in the playoffs last year. They're not on national TV all the time.
Handoff, Arian Foster picks up 4 yards up the middle.
But he throws the football down the field with ease. That's what I like. Can throw it on the run. And when he needs to, which you've seen a couple times here in this game. When he needs to, he can step on it and put a little extra velocity on it to put it into tight spots. And when it comes down to it, a lot of times when you talk about quarterbacks, do you have the ability to make 4 or 5 special throws a game? And there's no doubt he has that ability.
Kevin Walker, the motion man for Houston. 2nd and 6 for the Texans. Keep it on the ground. Foster, one cut and go. Arian Foster with the burst. Out across the 40-yard line. Casey with another good block. Dwayne Brown frees up Foster, who's doing a little chatting after the 18-yard run.
Well, he's talking about his diet. We'll get into that later, but watch this run. He's going to take it outside. As soon as he sees a little gap, the zone cuts it back, and you talk about him. He is smooth. He's deceptively fast, and he can eat up the yards once he gets past the line of scrimmage.
He went for 1,224 yards on the ground last season, 617 receiving. Keep in mind he missed 3 games because of hamstring issues. New set of downs for Houston to work with. Texans on the move again. Foster, play fake. Schaub to throw it. Schaub upstairs for Andre Johnson. Houston moves into New Orleans territory as he squeezed it into Johnson for 19 yards.
Well, what do? If you're on defense, you want to stop the run game. So you try, oh, there's a fake. No, it's the pass. Look at the extra time Matt Schaub gets, and big receivers down the field. What ability by Andre Johnson, such a big target. A lot of room to throw it, and he makes it look easy.
Phil keeping an eye on the right side of Houston's line, where Schaub Butler is now in there at right tackle. Schaub, little side-on throw, and he connects. Justin Forsett, who came over from Seattle in his 5th year out of California, turns it upfield for 13 yards. Just to go back to the Schaub conversation for a sec, Phil. If we say the elite quarterbacks in the NFL in no particular order, Breeze and Manning and Rodgers and Brady and Roethlisberger and Rivers.
Right.
Are you going to put Schaub in that category, or he's in that next tier?
Yeah, he's in the next tier, whatever. You know, that's another word that I'm really sick of hearing, elite. Is he an elite quarterback?
Is that a pet peeve?
Yeah, it definitely is. Who cares? He is good enough to lead the team and win the big game, if that's what you're going to have.
Justin Forsett trying to bust it off tackle towards the sideline, and Forsett is drilled on the play by Turk McBride. We didn't think Turk was going to play here tonight, and he's in there for New Orleans.
Well, you found out as we learned, you and I don't get to work together during the year, but you know, you rip on everybody, and
whoa.
And well, it's okay. I mean, in a good way. And I have a lot of pet peeves. You know,
you do.
So it's good.
You have a lot of pet peeves. That's something I've learned.
But
in
he
a very
leads.
short
You know,
period of time.
you turn on the TV. Is he elite? I don't know. Oh, come on.
Is it the word choice or how it's used?
It's everything.
Schaub is dumped. And a penalty marker down. Cameron Jordan. Remember his dad, Steve, who played for the Vikings for 12 years, the outstanding tight end. Jordan getting the sack.
Well, here's what's interesting.
Holding. 78 of the offense. Penalties declined. The result of the play, 3rd down.
New Orleans this year, under Steve Spagnuolo, they're going to play a little more zone coverage. So in other words, they're going to try to make the quarterback hold on to the football just a beat longer. And by doing that, you're going to give the defensive lineman a chance. That time they did it, Cameron
Spagnuolo, first year as the coordinator here. Dump off to Keyshawn Martin. He loses the football. Saints have got it. Martin coughs it up. Cedric Ellis is there on the recovery for the Saints.
Well, Keyshawn Martin learned a valuable lesson here. I know he played in the Big Ten at Michigan State, but when you catch any pass near the line of scrimmage in the NFL, always look out because they are flying in from behind.
Corey White, the rookie out of Samford, 5th-round pick. He's who knocked the football away from the rookie wide receiver.
Yep, Corey White, number 24. That's a name that the Saints fans are going to learn. He is a rookie, really doing well. Could be the starting nickelback. In other words, the first defensive back to come in passing situations.
White, a 5th-round pick for the Saints, and versatile. They have him lined up And a couple of different spots in that secondary. Breeze. Nice snare there as Thomas was able to haul it in, and that goes down as the final play of an action-packed first quarter.
I need a break.
Here in the Big Easy. Take a breath, Phil. End of the first quarter. Tied at 14. We'll return to New Orleans after these messages. The NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 47. First quarter summary here in New Orleans. 28 points between the two teams, 14 of them coming off turnovers. We've seen big plays. We've seen 252 total yards as well, and 3 turnovers in all.
Summary, action.
Shotgun, first play of the second quarter. Breeze. Drop, Jimmy Graham. A little bit of a low throw. Glover Quinn drew the assignment, the safety. And Graham, former basketball standout at the University of Miami, unable to bring it in cleanly.
Yes, you know, everybody, I think most people in the league just feel like if he's not the best tight end, he's close to it. And you talked about the basketball career. That was some funny stuff, him talking. Played at the University of Miami. I said, describe your play, because I had more fouls than points.
On third down, Breeze, wide open, and it's Graham! Jimmy Graham into Houston territory.
So somebody has to stay with him. He comes inside, there's a mix-up on the defense, and look at that in the middle of the field, nobody around. It was not man-to-man, so Quinn, I'm not going to say it was his fault. Looked like a zone coverage.
Chris Ivory back in there. And that's a good sign as Ivory took a big hit earlier. Ivory hurdling his way for a 5-yard gain. David Thomas with a block on that right side. Backup tight end for New Orleans.
Chris Ivory, so many good running backs down here in New Orleans, and it's going to be a decision for them. I know a lot of teams will be calling, wanting to make trades. Chris Ivory, a running back, not saying he's going to be available, but he can do everything. Catch it, block, run inside and outside.
Second and 5, Mark Ingram, the Heisman Trophy winner out of Alabama, is met by Earl Mitchell getting the start for the injured Sean Cody, and he picks up 4 yards right up the gut, sets up 3rd and short for the Saints.
You talked about, you said Earl Mitchell, a little bit of concern, interior defensive line with Sean Cody out. And also Harris, another defensive lineman, so they need somebody, 2 defensive linemen, to really show they can play over that center.
Trying to take advantage of the Keyshawn Martin turnover. Jet Collins on the receiving end. He's got a first down, the fullback. Got good hands now at his second year out of Washington State, and Mr. Alexander makes the stop. Well, for New Orleans, Leslie touched on it at the top of the show, the coaching situation. Joe Vitt, the interim. I believe this is the first time that we have an interim coach in the NFL. Aaron Cromer is now the interim.
Well, they're both kind of managing the game. Leslie talked about it.
Breeze over the middle and a flag thrown. Jimmy Graham with Brady James, the linebacker, matched up.
Well, here we are at that point of the field. Where are we? Near the 30-yard line. You've got to look for vertical passes down the field. And Jimmy Graham.
Interference on the defense. Number 53. Spot foul. Automatic first down.
Brady James, linebacker, down the middle of the field against Graham. That is tough. Boy, nice to set the move. Start out slow, take off.
Can we ask Graham, what's the difference body-wise between his basketball career now? He said he's 20 pounds heavier compared to basketball. He can still box out. He still attacks the ball. He goes and gets the rebound. The same mentality that he had with the Hurricanes. Handoff. Mark Ingram still going. Ingram handles the first contact and is able to somehow snuff out a yard on the play. Reed and Alexander combined to bring him down.
Well, let me just say this. When you talk about Jimmy Graham, the tight end position, the way the Saints throw those inside verticals and the way they throw the back shoulder passes, it's just as simple. Drew Brees told him, what did he say to him? Jimmy, remember, when you're covered, you're open. I'm still going to throw it. And they've just learned Drew Brees can look decide quickly where to throw it, and they make the adjustments.
Out of the gun, Breeze, bodies go down, and a matchup, Pierre Thomas and Mr. Alexander. No penalty flag on the play.
Well, if they tangle feet, remember that is not a foul. Mr. Alexander, number 54. Well, they didn't tangle feet. He just knocked him over. A good job if you can get away with it.
Now, I just used the word incomplete, which I haven't said very often tonight. Dump off. Cadet. Travaris Cadet, rookie out of Appalachian State, two-time All-Southern Conference. He's got some experience as a quarterback back in his high school days and collegiately.
Inside the red zone or inside the 20, the Saints still a very good screen team, and you said it though, Ian. Cadet, well, they were kind of hoping to keep him underground this season, but they know that is over. There are a lot of people in the NFL looking at Cadet, just wondering what are the Saints going to do with it.
22-yard field goal attempt for Garrett Hartley. And he bangs it through to give New Orleans its first lead of the night, 11:24 mark in this first half. 17 unanswered points for the Saints. Houston Texans, AFC South champions in 2011, went 10-6, franchise record 7-game winning streak over the course of the season. Won a playoff game against Cincinnati and then lost to Baltimore 20-13 in the divisional round. Got off to a great start here tonight here in New Orleans and now trailing 17-14. Thomas Morstead will kick it off for the Saints. Trindon Holliday is going to get an opportunity here. Holliday moves forward. Holliday through a lane. Holliday down the sideline. He gets shoved by Morstead. So Holliday able to redeem himself a bit after the fumble in the first quarter. And we got to see a little bit of that raw speed. 64 yards on the return.
Well, now you can walk over to the bench and say, how do you like me now? But here's where it comes in, the speed. Right around the corner. Able to get around the guys that are being blocked and get 30 extra yards.
Outstanding field position for the Texans. Now trailing the Saints second quarter. Super Bowl 47 will be right here at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome, and the Saints will try to become the first team to play the Super Bowl on their home field.
Ooh.
Man, would that be something?
Oh my gosh.
With everything swirling around this franchise. They've got a 17-14 lead on Houston. And the Texans have it a 1st and 10 at the New Orleans 37-yard line. Here's Schaub with a deep drop. Schaub lets it fly. Picked off initially, but Johnson's got it. It's ruled incomplete. Boy, I thought Robinson got his hands on it. Johnson emerges with the football.
Well, Patrick Robinson is all over Andre Johnson. Look down the field as Matt Schaub throws it. There's no help. And that's a good, I don't know who broke it up. But that time, the Texans, they just have everything in their offense. We're seeing it all. They blocked it up. They let Matt Schaub try to throw it down the field.
Double tight end set with Daniels and Graham on a 2nd and 10 for the Texans. On the ground, Arian Foster could not bounce it to the outside. Cameron Jordan making the play from his defensive end spot. It's a loss of 2.
Well, I think it's Arian Foster. We had a chance to talk to him yesterday. It's been not a controversy, but talked a lot about down in Houston his vegan diet.
Yeah, and he says it's not a diet. That's the first thing he wants to say.
Yeah, I should have said that.
It's a lifestyle change, and here is a typical menu for him. Plant-based vegan diet, oatmeal and fruit, breakfast, assorted vegetables, potatoes and rice. Why don't you cover the dinner? What's the dinner?
Quinoa, vegetables, and kale.
What's that now? What was the first one?
Quinoa.
3rd and 12. Schaub throws. Broken up. Johnson, the intended receiver. He couldn't secure it with Malcolm Jenkins, the safety there. And the Saints defense has done the job.
Boy, that's a nice job by the offensive line. Matt Schaub getting the extra time. Good read, but that ball should have been caught. Andre Johnson had it. Michael Jenkins not able to get in front. An excellent placement by Matt Schaub, throwing it just a little bit behind where the defensive back could do nothing with it.
And Phil, something I didn't think I would actually say tonight, a punt. Houston will punt. Donnie Jones, the veteran from LSU. Return man is Lance Moore, who's deep. Getting downfield, and a save. McManus making the play on special teams. Able to straddle that line. It's a 38-yard punt, and the Saints will be pinned deep in their own territory. What a play by McManus for Houston. Football parent or coach, before your season starts, go to usafootball.com and learn how you can make the game better for your players. That's Heads Up Football at usafootball.com.
Yeah, it's an excellent program. It's really about teaching kids all the little things they need to know about the game to make it better and to make it safer.
So the Saints at the 1-yard line. They lead 17-14. Breeze will toss to Jimmy Graham. Stiff arm by Graham as Jamison took the brunt of it.
Just an interesting play. The Saints, we walk into practice a couple days ago. The first thing they worked on, how to get away from our own end zone. The coming out offense, a nice way to do it too. Sprint the quarterback out, that's safe, and throw it to Jimmy Graham. That's a pretty good thing too.
So Aaron Cromer, this is a collaborative effort tonight along with Joe Vitt, and then Cromer in the final preseason game will be the man in charge. The curl by Joe Morgan. Morgan in his second year from Walsh, and Houston comes up with a football. Danielle Manning.
Yeah, he did not look like he was down fighting for the extra yards.
So some young receivers may be trying to do too much in this first half on both sides. Four fumbles.
No doubt about it. Forward progress is stopped, but the whistle did not blow it dead. And so they reached in there and pulled it out.
Another turnover. Joe Morgan, who was on IR last year with a knee injury. Brooks Reed started ripping at the ball, and Manning got a piece as well.
No doubt, Danielle Manning, good job of just ripping it out. That's what you do. The first guy gets there, hold him up. The rest of the defenders, once you come, what do? Attack the football. Excellent example. Good teaching spot there for the Texans, and they got it done.
And a big difference in their defense last year. They got a leader like Manning from Chicago, signed as a free agent, 4 years, $20 million. We'll step aside with 9:35 to play in this first half. Is your fantasy football legit? Sign up for the official NFL Fantasy Football League only on NFL.com with free live scoring, instant video highlights. Go legit. Sign up for free at NFL.com/fantasy. So the Texans take over after the turnover on first down for Houston. Running play. Arian Foster able to stay balanced for a 4-yard pickup up the gut.
I think you go back, Joe Morgan, you learn. Forward progress, it stopped, but the officials a couple years ago, they made an effort. Let the plays continue. Let it go and see what happens. That way it takes a lot of judgment out of some of the calls. And that time it helped the Texans and got them a turnover with the fumble.
Second and goal for Houston. On the ground, Foster slashing to the end zone. Touchdown, Texans.
Well, that was a good example right from behind. I was watching, you could see it just happen. Chris Myers, nice block getting outside, and Arian Foster, excellent, being patient, staying with it. And James Casey, how about his block leading the way too? Number 86 seals it. Arian Foster takes it in the end zone.
And Bullock on for the extra point for Houston. Texans have gone back in front. 21-17, Houston with the lead. 8:55 to play now in this first half. So Matt Schaub and the Texans offense have to feel good about what they've accomplished in this first half. Phil, This has been such a hot-button issue in the NFL, the bounty scandal, and we take you through the timeline. League began their investigation of alleged bounties in the 2010 offseason. It continued, and in 2011, Roger Goodell announces punishments for Saints GM Mickey Loomis. 8 games. The coaches, including Sean Payton, suspended for the entire year. That was back in March. And it didn't end there. The Payton suspension really shocked some people. April 16th, that was the official word from the league that Sean Payton would have to sit out the year. And then this one, Jonathan Vilma suspended for the season as well. That was announced on May the 2nd. This all part of Bountygate, the pay for performance, where the team allegedly rewarded defensive players for hits resulting in injuries and card-offs. And Phil, you've been associated with this league for a very long time. What's been your reaction to all this news?
Well, there's so much, Ian. It's hard to really cover it here in a short period of time, but I tried to learn as much as I could. None of us know all the facts. I'll just say this little bit. I think the suspensions of the players, I thought they were too severe. You know, they're in an environment, nobody's correcting them, most likely. And so those suspensions I thought were too tough. And the words they said, you know, things are said on the football field, the locker room. You can't take them literally. You know, I never took them that way. So just my first thought is the suspension's too heavy for the players.
Cadet, the return man, and takes it just short of the 25-yard line. The players that have been affected, Phil, we mentioned Jonathan Vilma. Will Smith also is going to miss a substantial amount of time, 4 games to start the season. Anthony Hargrove was actually released by the Packers, and Scott Fujita now a member of the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, you know, just, you know, when you talk about it, now, you know, there's a lot of things said in the locker room. I haven't met really a player in the league, maybe a couple ex-players who just thought it was too severe on those guys. And there was many times in games things were said to me, I didn't go, oh my gosh, he really means it. I mean, they said some unbelievable things. It was the culture of football. Now, listen, I do understand what is going on now with the health of players, the way it's viewed. So now you got to watch the way you play, which is the NFL is doing a great job. Less big hits at the end of the year, guys staying safer. And let's be honest, you got to watch what you say now too. So we'll see how it works out.
Breeze on a handoff, and Ingram, who picked up 8 yards on the previous play, unable to get any yardage on that one. In fact, a loss of 2 as Smith made the play defensively. We asked Joe Vitt, what are you going to do? Vitt has been suspended for 6 games. He said, look, I have been involved with football for 44 years. I have no idea how I'm going to fill that time over the 6 weeks. I'm going to go crazy.
Well, he did say a couple things. He said he's going to learn as much as he can during that time down about head trauma, so he'll be better educated about it.
Breeze on 3rd and 4. Tight window there. Marcus Colston, the intended receiver, and Quinn there defensively for Houston.
And he also said, Joe Vitt said, Ian, he goes, I'm going to go to Walter Reed Hospital, spend some time with those guys, talk some football, and take my time up that way.
Vitt said that this is such a great group, the core group, that's why it's been so easy to make it work without Sean Payton. Vitt said, look, you work your whole career to be a part of a team like this. Morstead, the punt, Trendon Holiday. Range is over. Couldn't haul it in cleanly. The juggle, as he was able to get back in control of it and make his way towards the sideline. Now, this is a very close-knit group. This is Drew Brees with Joe Vitt, the assistant head coach, before the game. We talked to Drew Brees about this. He said, look, the perception outside this building is that it's got to be chaotic. Where's the leadership going to come from? The reality is this team can handle this challenge. He said that Sean Payton has prepared the Saints for anything. It's a testament to who he is, always open to new ideas. We just never thought it would come to this, where Payton would miss the entire year. First down for Houston. A little razzle-dazzle here. Keyshawn Martin gets drilled and coughs it up. Another turnover. Some pushing and shoving after the play. It's Will Smith. Smith, who's going to miss the first 4 games of the season, comes up with a football.
It's a nice play call. They run the reverse. But how about that hit by Malcolm Jenkins? Nice job of staying back. He reads the play, doesn't overreact, and he's there to take it for very little gain, and then hits that football and causes the fumble. You know, I want to go back to what you were just saying about the Saints and just tell everybody this. We were around there for 2 days. It's not what you think. The negativity, it was all positive, very uplifting. So I kind of wanted to say that it's not like, oh, we're against the world and all that. That was definitely not the case.
First down for the New Orleans offense. Pump fake, Breeze, sideline. Oh, it was intercepted. Did Demps get it cleanly, though, when he was still in bounds? No.
Same spot in the field again. Turnover inside the 30. Going deep down the field once again. Nice throw by Drew Brees. Oh, he did get possession, but he might have been out of bounds before he gets the ball. Yes, that's what's going to happen, so I would not challenge that.
Second and 10 for New Orleans. Breeze, short drop. On a quick hitter is Devery Henderson. And Henderson is knocked down just short of the 20-yard line. That covers 7 yards. The hit by Jonathan Joseph.
Is it like clockwork, though, Ian, as you watch the game? Every time the Saints team, that offense drives the football, look out. That's what makes them special. All the Houston defenders and coaches would say, hey, the thing about them is they're different. It's this situation they call a play that nobody else does, and that's why this offense has been so successful since Sean Payton has been here.
And we should point out as well, Pete Carmichael was calling the plays last year when Payton went down with the injury. Breeze off his back foot, lobs it upstairs. Graham does not come down with a football. Brady James, the linebacker, again getting Jimmy Graham out in coverage.
Well, it was tight coverage down the field. Brady James again one-on-one. And he does try to turn around and look for the football at the very last second. And of course, the Saint fans, I hope you can hear them yelling.
Well, they just showed the replay on the big screen, and that's why you heard the reaction.
That'll make them yell.
But right now, New Orleans is facing a 4th and 3 or a 39-yard field goal attempt, and they make the decision to go for it, and a timeout call. Saints were trying to get the timeout as Breeze was snapping the ball. New Orleans will have 1 timeout remaining. 6:27 to go in this first half.
Well, let's take another look at that pass interference. First off, really nice pass protection by the Saints against the blitz. Oh, there we go. I'm seeing a few things there that I didn't see before. You know, hand fighting, no big deal. But he reached up and kept Jimmy Graham for going for the football. And the view the official had, looks like he might have been able to see that.
Well, the replacement officials now in what is officially week 3 of the preseason, although the Saints have played 3 preseason games. They played in the Hall of Fame game as well.
Right. Well, it's a big issue. There's no doubt about it. I think as I've watched all these preseason games, I've seen the improvement each week in the mechanics of running the football game, but I don't know the calls. Look, a lot of these officials are Division II and Division III guys. They have never, these plays, they're all close in the National Football League. You have very few of these in lower division football.
On 4th down, Breeze unable to make the connection. Quentin Demps over there defensively. And the Saints give it up on downs. That probably is not something they would have done in the regular season. Hey, this is preseason. You tinker with some things. That would have been a 39-yard field goal attempt for New Orleans.
That's a good point. I don't know if they would have, I don't know. They're pretty aggressive on the offensive side. But I think they feel secure. They like both of their kickers. This is the question, which one do they pick? But you're the Saints, 4th and 3. You feel like that's a layup for your passing game.
So Houston takes over with a 21-17 lead. At the 21-yard line. Base offense. Arian Foster is buried. It'll be a loss on the play for Foster. Roderick Bunkley there defensively, first man for New Orleans.
Boy, they like the big guy inside. You know, we don't talk about him a lot. Bunkley last year, Denver Broncos, they hated to lose him. He's just a presence. You know, he can push the pocket. Not that he's going to go around somebody and sack the quarterback. Hard to run his way. And what it does, him being inside just helps Will Smith get more freedom to rush the quarterback.
They knew they needed improvement. 5-year, $25 million deal. Big play! Garrett Graham from Schaub. He put it right on the money. Houston downfield in a hurry into New Orleans territory. 44 yards on the pass play. Schaub to Graham.
Well, this is just another play that they love to run. The Houston Texans down the middle to the sideline. Something the Saints do a lot of. And it just breaks down zone coverage.
And Graham should be getting more opportunities now with Joel Dreesen in Denver. And again, a lot of weapons for Matt Schaub to work with. First down, just inside the 40. Schaub, play fake, floats it to James Casey, who sticks his head down and picks up some extra yardage, give him 3.5 or 4 on the play. Casillas with a hit.
You said something was appropriate for this league because we can see that it's just the offense has a chance to go. It's weapons. And everybody I talk to, both sides, well, you know, we like him because he's just another weapon.
Yeah.
I mean, how many do you need? Well, I guess you just can't have enough. And both of these teams have 4 and 5 guys on the offensive side that can make big plays, including the quarterbacks.
We'll call it 2nd and 7. Martin goes in motion. Coming up on 4 minutes to play in this first half. On play action, Schaub sets it up for Owen Daniels with a penalty marker down. Daniels rumbles out across the 25-yard line for a first down, but could be coming back. 10-yard gain.
You know, when you watch games like this, you just think, wow, I'd like to come back and be a quarterback.
I wasn't thinking that, but I could think that you were.
It's just all the screens, all the formations, all these offensive players.
Offside. 94 of the defense. Penalty is declined. Result of the play brings up a first down.
And coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report, we'll have an update on the first tournament of the PGA Tour playoffs for the FedEx Cup, the Barclays. Plus, my partner Phil Simms sits down for an interview with Saints quarterback Drew Brees. That's coming up. First down for Houston, a pitch. Foster zigzagging. And Foster works his way towards the sideline, able to make one man miss, Patrick Robinson, and get some yards. Picks up about 3 on the play.
Arian Foster gains 1,600 yards this year or more. We are going to have a flood of running backs to become vegans, right?
You think so? That's going to be the next step.
If it worked for him, hey, players are always looking for something that makes them better. Training, do this, get faster, get stronger, and the diet is the new fad. They're doing it. Arian Foster, we'll see if it. He says he feels so much better. And of course, I believe him.
2nd and 7 now. Play action. Foster is open, and Schaub hits him. The one thing that he said that made a lot of sense in his shift, his mental shift in making this change, he said, look, I need food for fuel. I don't use it as enjoyment. I like to eat, and I eat a lot, but I don't look at it as the enjoyment of eating food. Schaub just took a shot from Will Herring, and he said he's never felt better. And through training camp, he has never felt better than he has over this last 3-week month stretch.
When you wake up at training camp and you're not sore, well, that's something different.
Timeout called. Play clock was winding down. We're under 3 minutes to play in this first half. So Houston with a 21-17 lead on New Orleans, and trying to add to it, we have had a lot of turnovers in this first half. Ivory coughed it up for New Orleans, and then Trindon Holiday on special teams. That was a touchdown for the Saints. Keyshawn Martin gives it up. But then New Orleans does the same with their rookie receiver, Joe Morgan. Martin again, his second fumble.
You know, too, I'm a big believer with quarterbacks, even your football team. You know, it's a dress rehearsal. You want it to go great, but there's nothing like adversity, changing the football over, having these situations, because it's just better. When you go back, there's more. You know you're not there yet. You don't want to come out here and win 35-0. You go, oh, we got it, coach. You know, we're good. We don't need you today. Well, when you have mistakes, now the coach can still be heavy-handed, keep you driving forward, because that's what you need. You know, this league, it's up one week and it's the worst the next.
Well, the Texans have certainly felt good about themselves in this preseason. They're 2-0, had a 20-9 win over San Francisco last week. And now a 3rd and 7 after the timeout. Shotgun shot, flag down, glanced off the hand of Lestar Jean.
You know, the other thing, Houston playing in this environment.
Just getting on the same page here. Matt Schaub said this is the loudest stadium that he has played in during his NFL career. Regular season game, he said, it's as loud as any place he's ever been. And these fans are into it 365 days a year.
Neutral zone infraction, 21 to the defense. 5-yard penalty, replay 3rd down.
So it works against Patrick Robinson of the Saints. And Houston's going to get an opportunity here to convert and keep this drive going.
I was down here in 1988, and I am not exaggerating. My ears hurt. It was that loud in this stadium. You couldn't even get in the huddle and call the play. You just yelled. You think nobody's hearing me, and it was really something. And of course, Ricky Jackson, Pat Swilling.
You don't think that played a role?
That was great.
A little bit.
No communication against those guys.
Sam Mills,
Vaughn.
You won that game, Phil, by the way. You know that.
Yes, we did.
You didn't mention that as part of your
story.
It's
a story. You don't have to have all the facts.
3rd and short now for Houston. Foster in the backfield. Tight formation. Running play. Foster lowers the shoulder and takes it to the 15. It's short of a 1st down by a yard. Will Smith making the play for New Orleans. So it's 4th down for the Texans. We saw New Orleans go for it on 4th and short. Will Houston go for it here?
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm just watching their sideline to see what Gary Kubiak does.
You know how time flies? Gary Kubiak is in his 7th year as the head coach of the Houston Texans. They've only had 2 head coaches in their franchise history. Dom Capers was the first as an expansion team. And it's been Kubiak, the Houston native, who's now been at the helm for a long stretch. And finally last year, this team enjoyed the playoffs, enjoyed the success, and Kubiak and the general manager, Rick Smith, both got contract extensions.
You know what? It's really a lesson, I think, for a lot of organizations. The hardest thing to do in this league is what? To be patient. So they rewarded Gary Kubiak and Rick Smith with that extra year. What do? The team comes through. They got the coaching staff straightened out. Now they got the same philosophy going into year 7. They got good players. They got depth. I mean, they have this team organized now to be good for 4 or 5 years.
Phil, you mentioned 1988. I want to bring up 1979. September 30th. Phil Simms, his first career game, and it was right here at the Superdome. Touchdown, Ken Johnson. The Giants fell short against New Orleans. 24-14, but a young stallion.
Yeah, young stallion right there.
Phil Simms with his first NFL action. Randy Bullock on. And he knocks it through.
I like that. You guys, I like getting blindsided there, you know.
Oh, you didn't see that one coming?
No, I did not.
That was like a Ricky Jackson sack.
Yeah. Archie Manning was the quarterback in the other team, so that was pretty cool. And
did you think you would play? Did you show up thinking,
Yes.
I'm getting in the game.
Yes, I did. I kind of knew as soon as it was going to go bad that I was going to play that day. What was I? 8 for 19, 115. Wow. And you know what? I really left. I got on the bus that night and went, wow, I really played well.
Oh, really? You thought
Yeah.
you nailed it?
I really did. I didn't even know it was that bad. I thought it was a lot better than that.
We're sorry to bring up the numbers.
Geez, thanks. Today's numbers, if you did that, oh my gosh, you would get crucified on TV. They would be talking about his quarterback rating's not good enough. I don't know if he's elite.
I don't know if that's elite, Phil. I don't know if those are elite numbers.
I'm pretty sure it's not. Even for that era, it was pretty bad.
Do you age? What kind of cryogenics are you into? You look exactly the same. That's impressive.
It's just the extra 50 pounds that's the problem. That's the difference.
Well, Matt Schaub and the Houston Texans, Gary Kubiak said, hey, the plan is to keep our starters in through the third quarter. I don't know.
It's been so much action. I think you're right. I'll be interested to see. This is a lot of plays in this game so far. And that, I was going to say, one of the hard things about the opening weekend of the year is you play a whole game. About mid-third quarter, you're going, oh, my gosh, this game's lasting forever. So it'll be interesting to see if either team comes out with starters here in the second half.
Randy Bullock will kick it off after the 33-yard field goal. And Cadet is the deep man for the Saints. From the 5. Cadet with a head of steam. He got hit down low. Nice play on special teams by Shiloh Ko for Houston. 18-yard return for Cadet.
Special teams, such a big deal in preseason. It's because that's where all the backups are trying to make the team. And that is a nice tackle. Cadet showing that he can carry the ball, he can catch it, he's a good blocker in the backfield, and he can also be in that return game if you need it.
And we could be seeing a lot of Travaris Cadet over the course of the second half. 24-17. Houston in front with 2:04 to go in this second quarter. Each team with one timeout remaining. Breeze steps up. Breeze trying to get away from the rush. Unloads it. Caught by Graham. Jimmy Graham still going. Flag is down. All the way back at the 18-yard line. The stiff arm on Danielle Manning.
Well, it was pressure that time by the Houston Texans. They played really tight coverage. Drew Brees able to step up. And what a catch, what a run by Jimmy Graham.
57 yards, 30 of them came thanks to the stiff arm.
The flag was thrown in the backfield, so immediately I thought, holding.
Number 80 on the offense, illegal touching. Personal foul on the defense. By rule, the 5-yard penalty will be disregarded. 15-yard penalty will be enforced. 15 yards, first down, 10.
Well, you had the 2-minute warning, and I think both coaches want an explanation here with a minute
So do I.
52 to go. I think we could all use one. We'll step aside, come right back. Second quarter action. Coming up, Verizon Halftime Report. We'll have an update on the first tournament of the PGA Tour playoffs. It's the Barclays, plus Phil Simms, one-on-one with Saints quarterback Drew Brees. Coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report.
Just to clear it up for everybody, when they said illegal touching by number 80, that's Graham, it was the formation was wrong. He was covered up, so he's illegal to go down the field and catch it.
Shotgun. Brees throws a strike on the outside. Pierre Thomas able to veer towards the sideline for 10.
Here's the wide receiver. Here's Jimmy Graham. He should be off the line of scrimmage, or he would have to be. One of them has to be off. Too many men on the line of scrimmage. That's the penalty.
New Orleans on the move here with a minute 47 to go.
Right, but the personal foul overrides it. Helps New Orleans.
Down by 7. Brees pumps, throws, finds the open man against his defense, Marcus Colston. And New Orleans breezing down the field with 1:35 to play. That covers 18 yards.
They were all looking at Drew Brees, and he just gave a little feint to the right, makes the receiver to his left come wide open.
Brees. He's going to run it. Brees slides. He's got a first down. Out across the 25-yard line. Clock is moving down to 1:14 and counting left in this first half.
Defensive linemen, you got to stay in your lanes when you're playing man-to-man coverage. Nobody there to watch the quarterback.
New set of downs for New Orleans to work with. We hit the 1-minute mark of the second quarter. Brees from the gun. Penalty flags are down. Play is whistled dead. It's going to work against the Saints.
False start. Offense, number 74. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Jermon Bushrod, Pro Bowler last year at left tackle for New Orleans. So back it up 5 yards.
Well, they got to find out here. Don King is talking to Joe Vett. Inside 1 minute. Clock was running. Penalty.
Saints are down to 1 timeout remaining.
By rule, under a minute.
That's Pete Carmichael as well, the offensive
By
coordinator.
rule, under 1 minute, there will be a 10-second runoff. The Saints declined to take the timeout. 10-second runoff. Please set the clock at 46 seconds.
Well, that's good for the Saints, really. Ian gives them a chance to talk things over, see how it goes. And you got this long to make a decision, and that's what I would have done too. Not that that matters, but I would take the 10-second runoff, save that timeout.
Timeout is more important than the 10 seconds. They can score quickly and make things happen.
No question. And Drew Brees knew the clock was running.
1st and 15. Brees gets out of trouble initially. Rifles. Nobody home. In the direction of Lance Moore. That pressure came from Earl Mitchell.
Yeah, it was just a good job by Drew Brees showing how athletic he is. Even though he is truly a pocket quarterback. Oh, Mitchell, what a night. Goes high, run through the quarterback, don't reach. But a good job by Earl Mitchell. They're excited about him. More repetitions, pretty explosive for an interior defensive lineman. He can help that pass rush.
We asked Brees about this Houston defense. He said, look, I have a lot of respect for Wade Phillips. I was with him in San Diego. It's pretty simple. They're very physical, but he has a knack for putting guys in position to make plays. On the flip, Pierre Thomas getting chunks of yardage. Working the perimeter. Thomas ducks out of bounds with 27 seconds left in the first half.
It's a clinic on how to run screens in his first half by both teams. And the key is they just keep you guessing. And that time he's throwing it down the field. The defensive lineman so aggressive. And you know it's a good screen when nobody has a chance to chase it from behind and make the tackle.
Phillips hoping his defense can hold up. Pete Carmichael running this offense for New Orleans.
Got to hurry up.
Play clock is down to 3. Shotgun, Brees. Throws outside Lance Moore, but he's inbounds. 5-yard gain. And the Saints will use that timeout.
I watched the Houston Texans play their first 2 preseason games, and of course it's easy to say this defense doesn't resemble the one I saw those first 2. Of course they weren't playing the Saints because they're so aggressive, they're so fast, but you know what? It's hard to just play all out when you're playing an offense that, come on, it's just the array of plays is unbelievable. I said to Drew Brees, it's preseason. You guys do so much. And he goes, that's who we are. So we're going to be who we are in preseason because that's what we do during the regular season.
Well, that's part of the Sean Payton philosophy where Drew Brees told us with Sean, everybody had a voice. It's always been collaborative. Maybe there's this perception that Sean Payton's the man in charge. That's not the way Drew Brees painted it. That's a big reason why he thinks this will work. The coaching setup, the players had a voice, and now they feel collectively they can overcome this bounty gate.
I agree with a lot of it, but Sean Payton,
He's got a little magic. That's what
got
Pete
magic.
Carmichael said.
special play caller too.
2nd and 5. Breeze gets away, throws, touchdown, Jimmy Graham. Graham dunks it. And the Saints are an extra point away from tying this one up.
That was exactly what he told you about being a basketball player. Box out, go to the ball. He did both of them there, and then he finished it off with a dunk.
Attack it.
Attack the ball. What a, boy, oh boy, what a tight throw, Drew Brees, but he's so used to seeing his guys attack the football. That is routine to this offense.
Garrett Hartley on for the extra point. Jimmy Graham said that Drew Brees had so much confidence in him from day one. He said, look, I had Antonio Gates in his first year in San Diego when he was making the transition from basketball to football, and you are farther along in your development than Gates was, and that gave him a big push in confidence.
It did. What a job. Drew Brees avoids the rush. Connor Barwin, the other basketball player, is coming full speed ahead. Couldn't get him. But watch the window here. Comes back to the football. Wow, that's tough.
You know, the other part with Jimmy Graham, Phil, because you and I had never heard this story. We asked him when he decided to go for it with football.
Right.
And Bernie Kosar, quarterback in the NFL and Miami, was the guy who was telling him, you got to do it. You got to give it a shot. He said when he finally said yes, Kosar would drive an hour and a half and work him out 3 days a week, throw footballs to him and really get on him.
And get on him, teach him about route running, how to do it, showing him coverages in the NFL. And I thought was funny too, you said it, he yelled at me a lot.
Man, he had to get used to it a little different.
It was good though. It was great to hear that Bernie was doing that, but what a transition. You know, Antonio Gates, Jimmy Graham, just two unbelievable examples of basketball players that just turn it right around, become the best at their job in the NFL.
Morstead on the kickoff. And Holiday is going to take a knee with 15 seconds to play in this first half. Well, Jimmy Graham was just ridiculous last year. That's how good he was. Rob Gronkowski was right there and in fact had better numbers than Graham in terms of yards and touchdowns. Graham with 99 catches last season. He just stretches the field. And we've seen Tony Gonzalez make the transition, Antonio Gates make the transition, and now you put Jimmy Graham in that class. That's special company.
It is. Special player, no doubt.
Schaub takes a knee, and that will do it for an entertaining first half of football between the Texans and the Saints, playing for the 5th consecutive year in the preseason. End of the first half, we are tied at 24. We'll come back. The Verizon Halftime Report is coming up after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 47. About set for second half action here at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. The Texans and the Saints are tied at 24. Follow your favorite team all season long. Go to iTunes.com/NFL for full games, highlights, and much, much more. So the question that we had, coaches have to make a decision. Do they stick with the ones on offense and defense for another stretch into this third quarter? We're going to find out momentarily. Let's take a look at the numbers in that first half. 187 passing yards for Houston, 179 for New Orleans, 5 combined turnovers.
Yeah, I think that's the big stat that stands out, the turnovers. Of course, you can't expect to have an outstanding defensive day when you're playing against either one of these offenses.
So Houston will kick it off with Randy Bullock. And Travaris Cadet is the deep man. Second half underway here in New Orleans. Here's Cadet. Up the middle, slowed down at the 20, and then brought down just short of the 25-yard line. And downstairs, as we bring in the third member of our broadcast team tonight, it's Leslie Visser.
Hey guys, it's been everything that you have said. Joe Vitt said it's kind of like a basketball game, all the points off turnovers, the love fest for Jimmy Graham. He said defensively we have got to shut down the edges. Now Gary Kubiak told me no more for his ones. He said they played so many plays against such a tough team, which Phil had pointed out here in the Superdome. Ian?
Yeah, and Leslie, I think, especially when the coaches had a chance to get together at halftime and talk things through, there was a lot of plays on offense for both teams, and they got to see a whole lot, and that means we're going to see Chase Daniel now for the Saints.
Illegal substitution, 12 men on the field by the offense. It's 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
And that means you might also see some mistakes with the second unit on offense.
Well, here's what happens sometimes in these situations in preseason games. All right, backup offense in. Well, I'm the backup guy. No, you are. I am. That's exactly what happened that time.
So first and 15. Daniel in his fourth year out of Missouri throws to the sideline, and he's got his man. It's Greg Camarillo, who has just signed by the Saints. He was working out with Drew Brees in San Diego, waiting for a phone call, formerly with the Chargers, Miami, Minnesota, and he got the call. The Saints needed some help at wideout.
If you want to be an NFL wide receiver, find Drew Brees in the summer, work out with him, and he'll get you a tryout.
That's right. He got Camarillo in, and he got Marcus Clark in. We'll tell you his story later. Daniel throwing and looking for Camarillo. It's incomplete. Hey, Camarillo's a veteran. 7th year in the NFL. Out of Stanford. Troy Nolan had the coverage there for Houston.
Camarillo picking up the offense. It gives them depth. It just gives them a little bit of security blanket in case they need it. If he doesn't make the team, if that happens, they know if somebody went down, call him. He can come right in, be ready to play. So it's really a very good move by the Saints.
And Drew Brees gave him the ultimate compliment. He said, look, if they told me right now that Greg Camarillo was one of my receivers for the season, I'm more than okay with that. We already have chemistry. Little out route, Michael Higgins, the tight end, against Shiloh Ko, and Higgins has got a first down. He's in his second year out of Nebraska, Omaha, formerly of the practice squad.
Well, you can tell when New Orleans brings in their backup offense in, they really shut it down and settle. I mean, isn't it amazing? Chase Daniels, he comes in, shotgun, wide open formations, 3 straight passes.
Now on the ground, Chris Ivory making men miss. Ivory busting it down the sideline. And angles out of bounds. Jesse Nading couldn't get him, neither could Quentin Dempsey.
Boy, how about Chris Ivory? How quick does he look on this play? Front side run, looking for the hole and able to bounce it out and around. Quick feet, and once he gets a little space, fast.
20 yards for Ivory.
How about that? A college free agent, 2010.
Out of Tiffin. And Ivory can run in between the tackles. He's got a powerful frame, and he picks up 4 yards on the play.
You know, we talked about the running back situation just a little. Pierre Thomas, he's definitely their first guy. We know they have, Mark Ingram. He's going to be there. Darren Sproles, we haven't seen tonight. Now you start talking about Chris Ivory, Travaris Cadet. What are we going to do? Can you keep them all? Most likely not.
Minor knee injury for Sproles. They feel very confident he'll be ready to go week 1. Set up the screen. And there's Cadet with a little shake and bake move to the 30-yard line. Nading with the tackle.
Well, that was a good example of what he can do too. Another screen by the Saints. We've seen quite a few of them tonight. Another term that I hate. Hey, they're in mid-season form.
That's a pet peeve.
Oh man, come on. Can somebody be in mid-preseason form? But what a job. Sets it up, cuts it back inside, and gets those extra yards. That was quite impressive. Pennell out there leading the block.
New Orleans will open the season at home against Washington. Ivory up the middle and stacked up at the 25-yard line, but give him a gain of 5, and he earned it.
Man, this is, too, you look at Chase Daniels, he is one of the, I don't want to say short, just a smaller NFL quarterback. So many 6'5" guys. I think he is 6 foot. he can run this offense, but he's not Drew Brees. He's a different style. Going to move around more, needs more space, can get out of the pocket quicker. Drew Brees is going to stand in there. You have to force him to even think about moving out of there.
Second team offensive lineman in. Daniel gets rid of it in a hurry. That was a BB to Greg Camarillo. Coverage there from Bryce McCain, and they'll move the chains inside the 20-yard line. And this should be a Phil Simms pet peeve. Any smallish quarterback in the NFL gets compared to Drew Brees. Well, Drew Brees did it, so why can't this guy?
Don't you think he's Drew Brees? And I always say to everybody, no. Drew Brees is 6'1", big shoulders, extremely long arms, big hands.
Handoff, Ivory moving the pile, and Ivory takes it to the 11-yard line.
And he stands tall when he throws the football, and he has a very overhand delivery. So when I watch him play, he comes off as a guy that's like 6'4" or 5" when you watch Drew Brees. So that's the difference. If you've got his physical characteristics, you play like him, okay, that's different. But Chase Daniels is not the same type of player, which I just explained.
Daniel was on the practice squad. This is the 10th play of the drive. Ivory trying to stay on his feet and driven down by Troy Nolan. But again, showing some bounce. Ivory cutting it to the outside and picks up 2 yards.
Boy, if it's the college team, I'd say they're running back. They could maybe get enough chances for all of them, but you can see the difference with Chris Ivory, just so versatile. That's what makes him so valuable. And also, even with the backups of the Houston defense, here in person, looking at all of them, you can tell the backups, they have speed in that backup unit.
3rd and 1 for the Saints. It's going to be Ivory again. And Ivory's got enough for the first down. Takes it to the 6-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal for the Saints. Trying to break this tie as the clock rolls. Under 10 minutes to go in the 3rd. Aaron Cromer, who is the interim, but he's also the running game coordinator. He's the offensive line coach, so a lot of different hats that the coaches wear on this staff.
Well, they've had a lot of time to think about it, and there's no doubt after meeting with them, I think you agree, they got this thing ironed out and they're ready.
Yeah, I was impressed by him. I was impressed by Joe Vitt as well. 1st and goal. Daniel tried to swing it outside, too high for Joe Banyard. That's another running back on this roster, rookie out of Texas El Paso.
One of their little favorite plays, they got a lot of variations of this, these quick screens or flips to the outside. They fake it sometimes one way, throw it to the other. They pull linemen out to the block for the running back and really just make it an outside sweep. They're very dangerous with it inside the 10-yard line.
Aaron Cromer telling us practices, meetings, installs are all the same. Different voice, same message. Daniel into traffic. It's broken up. Trying to hit Cadet.
Here's the other thing, too. As I've watched their preseason games, and I look at Chase Daniels, the backup, they give him lots of experience. And I know he played at Missouri, threw it a lot. He threw a lot in high school, too. But he is fearless throwing the football. He might make some mistakes because if he thinks there's a window there, well, I can get it in there. So I do like that about him. I like that a lot about him being a backup quarterback.
2008 had 4,335 yards for Missouri. Daniel throwing it at the feet of Banyard as that play never got going because of the penetration by Jared Crick.
Good job by Jared Crick. That was what I talked about. Fake reverse to Cadet. They're going to throw it to the right, trying to get a little screen to the running back. And Jared Crick, who they like, from Nebraska, gives them a little depth on that defensive line.
So it's going to be Garrett Hartley out for a 24-yard attempt. He made a 22-yarder earlier. Hartley now in his 5th year in the league. Hartley connects on IR last year because of a hip flexor, trying to work his way back and trying to make this New Orleans Saints team. We'll step away. Inspired by the legend of Sherlock Holmes, Johnny Lee Miller and Lucy Liu star in Elementary. Thursdays this fall, only CBS. So a long drive for the Saints to open up this 3rd quarter. They've got a 3-point lead on the Houston Texans punter Thomas Morstead. Will boot it for the Saints. Trindon Holiday is 6 yards deep. put this one on the ground. Wow, to the up man. Yeah, that's right. That does give you a wow. David Hunter getting an opportunity. It's a 10-yard return for the big man. Here at the Superdome, the New Orleans Saints and the Houston Texans, and a quarterback change for Gary Kubiak's squad as T.J. Yates, now in his second year out of North Carolina. He was poised as a rookie when he was forced to step in for the injured Matt Schaub, and then Matt Leinart went down as well. Yates on first down, puts it up high, and it's hauled in by James Casey. Jonathan Amaya, the hit. Let's take you back to last year. 5th-round pick, and Yates started 6 games, ultimately went to the playoffs and got the win before falling short against Baltimore. 27-24, New Orleans in front. On the ground, Justin Forsett. Forsett able to hit that sideline hard and pick up 6.5 yards on the play. Garrett Graham with a good block.
You know, you talk about T.J. Yates, the starts last year, the fact that Matt Schaub was hurt all off season, so he was the starter in all the OTAs. He gets to do the afternoon practice because they were resting Matt Schaub some, so what an experience. I saw him play their first game against the Carolina Panthers in preseason. I went, as soon as he played, I went, oh, he looks so different. Much more composed, got a little experience, and playing better on the field.
2nd and 4, Jonathan Grimes bulldozes his way for a first down into Saints territory. Should mention this, defensive changes for New Orleans, which include Barrett Ruud, linebacker who was acquired earlier this week in a trade with Seattle because the Saints have been beat up at that middle linebacker spot. So Ruud, the 8-year veteran, former 2nd-round pick, gets here, and he's in the game.
I know. He came in, got 1 day of practice, and let's go. And a very complicated defense for real. No TV talk. I mean, it's a lot.
Here's Yates. He's got time. Forced out of the pocket. And a sideline throw. He was out of bounds. Joaquin Iglesias. So the injuries for the New Orleans Saints at the linebacker spot, and these started coming very quickly. Chamberlain is done for the year. ACL. Lofton, the big free agent signing, ankle injury. They hope to have him back for week 1. David Hawthorne, who came over from Seattle, out with a knee. And then Ramon Humber goes down, 4th-year pro out of North Dakota State with a hamstring.
Wow.
Flag is down as Joaquin Iglesias went out and then came back in. Here's Don King.
Illegal touching on the offense, number 28. The receiver stepped out of bounds, came back in and touched the ball. That's a 5-yard penalty. Replay 2nd down. Replay 1st down.
So, you know, we talked about it a little earlier, Steve Spagnuolo. So the most important guy in his defense that he needs to lead, because I asked him, middle linebacker. 2nd, strong safety. He's fine, Malcolm Jenkins. So imagine you're the coach and you've lost 4. Now here comes Barrett Ruud. We walked by, I saw him in a meeting room watching tapes. I said, hi. And he goes, oh my gosh. He knew it was a lot to overcome because as soon as he got his first little information on the defense, I'm sure he went, wow, this is a lot of stuff.
And Spagnuolo said everybody on the coaching staff told him that Jonathan Vilma would absolutely love this defense and would have been a perfect fit.
He would. Well, he's a vocal leader. That's what you need to be. Think about it. James Laurinaitis. You know, Antonio Pierce, he had him with the Giants, Trotter with the Eagles. And so he's used to guys leading with their voice and their action on the field.
Here's Yates. The heat is on, and he is dumped. Yates goes down as Cord Parks was involved for New Orleans.
Yeah, a lot of pressure there that time, and the Houston Texans, they like this backup offensive line. It's a blitz. There's not enough guys to pick it up. Somebody has to change the route, the protection, or just get rid of the football.
And this New Orleans defense produced just 33 sacks in 2011. We know under Greg Williams, very blitz heavy. Spagnuolo has a very different philosophy. It's more zone-based compared to the defense that Greg Williams ran. 3rd and 15. They'll go conservative here, but there is room for Grimes, who bangs his way inside the 45, but short of a first down.
But
Corey White there defensively.
You saying it, Ian, that's what we were talking about, that's what excites the defensive linemen, because they're changing their philosophy a bit. Instead of all the blitzing, it's like get out of the way so we can get the blitzers in there. Now it's going to be more about the defensive lineman, quarterback holding the football. And Will Smith told us they got a bigger presence inside with defensive linemen, which he thinks is going to help the defensive ends greatly.
Donnie Jones to punt it. No Brett Hartman. Hartman torn ACL in early December. Also will serve a 3-game suspension for violating the league's substance abuse policy. Cadet the deep man, and this one is going to roll into the end zone. A touchback. 43-yard punt, but a net of 23. Final numbers on Drew Brees tonight. 17 of 25, 179 yards, and 2 touchdowns for Brees. That's not a bad half. And we're not going to see him in the final preseason game. The Saints will be at Tennessee on Thursday.
Well, they weren't quite my first appearance numbers that you pointed out to me earlier.
You want to go back to those numbers?
No, I got to memorize there. I'll be dreaming about them tonight, going, wow, that's a perception and reality. Well, my perception, that was a good day. Oh boy.
Travaris Cadet seeing extended time, but they just keep rotating these running backs in and out. A 2nd and 6 for the Saints, under 5 minutes to go in the 3rd. Daniel gets it to Corey Hall. The fullback won a Super Bowl with the Green Bay Packers. That's 5 yards on the pass play.
You know, this defense of the Texans, just talking to the coaches and then, you know, talking to Connor Barwin, and as we talk to them, the one thing they want to be known for this year, we want to be known as the hardest playing defensive unit in the league. Their style, the way they call it, it's aggressive. They are fast, so they have a chance.
Daniel flag down, spilled out. Courtney Roby was looking for a flag, and now we've got 3 of them on the field in a matchup with Bryce McCain.
Yeah, he fell over Roby before the football got there.
Holding. Offense number 69. Interference. Defense 21. Penalties offset. Replay 3rd down.
Eric Olson called for the hold. Bryce McCain called for the pass interference. The New Orleans Saints, 37 regular season wins since 2009. That is tied with New England for the most in the NFL over that span. 3 straight double-digit win seasons. Joe Banyard, a rookie up the middle for 3 yards. And this Houston Texan defense, led by Wade Phillips, who has a deep connection to the city of New Orleans. His father, Bum, was the head coach for the Saints from 81 to 85. And then Wade took over as the interim coach at the end of that 1985 season. And Wade just has come in and given this defense a whole new attitude in 1 year. That jump from 30 to 2 in the rankings. Joe Morgan cutting it to the outside. Morgan able to turn up the speed and pick up 20 yards on the catch and run.
Yeah, that was a run that time, and Chase Daniel said, well, if they're going to single up Joe Morgan to the left, I'll just throw it to him. And, well, maybe it was a pass. I see the offensive linemen, what they're doing. But Joe Morgan, another receiver, going to be interesting to see where he fits in with this football team, because if he doesn't, he's going to have some takers.
Their rookie Nick Toon out of Wisconsin, 4th-round draft pick, forced to sit this one out. Toon with a left foot injury. Wide receiver Corey Hall there for 3 yards. Toon, of course, the son of Al Toon, former wide receiver, 3-time Pro Bowler with the New York Jets.
You know, when you were talking about that Houston defense, I liked you talking about, you know, Wade Phillips. What did Jonathan Joseph say? He comes in, gives us a little 3-minute speech and tells us what he wants. Sometimes it's when it's 10 minutes long, go, look out, because it's pretty rough when it's a 10-minute speech.
Daniel gets rid of it. Good hands from Michael Higgins. Practice squad guy getting an opportunity here in the second half and picks up 5 yards. DJ Bryant with the hit on Chase Daniel.
It's really a good job by Chase Daniels. Look at him falling backwards, stays on that back foot, which is what you need to do when you're throwing off balance, and able to get just enough on it and good direction on the football to get a completion.
It was almost like the perfect storm last year for Houston with Joseph involved, getting the big contract, becoming a leader and an elder statesman, and fitting in perfectly with the Wade Phillips defense. Daniel, that's too high. Courtney Roby was the intended receiver, Bryce McCain the corner. And Joseph said, hey, I was always the young guy in Cincinnati. I got to Houston and everybody was looking at me, oh, here's the big money guy. And he delivered.
Yeah, it's two things. You're right. He came there, he wanted to be a leader, but first you got to prove yourself, even though you've done it in the league, because now you're getting a lot of money. Are you worth it? They're all judging you. They find out, hey, he's worth the money, and now they listen to what he has to say.
Now he's considered one of the top lockdown corners in the NFL. Thomas Morstead with the punt. Holiday comes over, lets it bounce, and it goes New Orleans' way. Down inside the 10. Joseph, a big part of this Houston Texans defense coming up in 2012. New Orleans up 27-24. Thank you very much. He's having fun, that guy, huh?
Well, I know this. He's got one dang good tan there.
And a nice head of hair.
Oh,
It's a given. 3-point lead for the Saints. 1:56 to play in the third. Texans take over after the punt. Justin Forsett up the middle with Ezra Butler there defensively and a 2-yard gain for Forsett. Well, we just recently had our NFL on CBS symposium, and the NFL comes in and makes a presentation, and this was a big part of it, Phil.
Well, it really was so much about player safety, changing rules, but look what they've done. The evaluation standard, one of the big things I think everybody's going to be happy about, there's going to be an athletic trainer upstairs watching the action and able to send replays down the field.
Yates gets caught from behind, and it's Kadarin Anderson, rookie from Furman.
Little blitz this time, and what's going to happen a lot with backups, running backs getting confused on rules. Who do I pick up in the blitz? Nobody there that time to pick up. Anderson gets an easy sack.
Yeah, personnel-wise for Houston, obviously these are second-teamers that are in, but there will be questions about the offensive line on that right side with Antoine Caldwell now starting. Mike Brizell went to Oakland. Eric Winston went to Kansas City, and it's a battle between Newton and Butler for that right tackle spot. 3rd and 15, a little bit of a delay there. Jonathan Grimes, his jersey got grabbed from the backside, and he's unable to accelerate for anything more than 3 yards. Houston will punt.
You know, something we can't talk about everything, but the limiting of practice in training camp is really affecting backup players. You don't get the reps you used to, so if you don't get the practice, hard to do well out here. And believe me, a lot of coaches, not as much, but personnel people, general managers complaining. Hard to judge guys when you never see them.
Jones to punt. Clock is winding down. Cadet moves forward. Well, he grabbed his hand back at the last moment. He almost touched it as it takes a Houston roll. And this is an excellent punt down inside the 30. You're looking at 60-plus yards on the punt. 63 once they mark it off. And that'll be the end of the third quarter. 27-24, the Saints in front. After this, we'll return to New Orleans. A word from your local station. 27-24, the New Orleans Saints leading the Houston Texans as we start fourth quarter action here at the Superdome. Chase Daniel remains in there, running the show for New Orleans. Ian Eagle, Phil Simms, Leslie Visser, the rest of our CBS Sports crew.
Wait, what's that?
On first down, Joe Banyard. Banyard flagged down as he cut to the outside. Banyard with a sprint. And the penalty marker thrown at the 48-yard line. 26 yards on the run by the rookie from Texas, El Paso. And everybody's retreating back.
Offense number 82. The 10-yard penalty. Replay first down.
I think that might be 62 unless Jake Byrne was in. Oh, maybe it is 82. Jake Byrne, rookie out of Wisconsin. Tight end, and this one is coming back.
Going down the field. Let's see where the hold is. Got his hands inside. Pulls that jersey as the runner breaks out. You could tell he was sealing inside, expecting a runner to go there. When he breaks out,
so Saints will be even deeper in their own territory here. They're going to spot the football at the 24-yard line.
I think they changed who they declared was holding that time. It wasn't I'm not sure who they said. It wasn't Byrne.
Oh, they have the right to do that. Motion man is Derek Schumann. And here's Daniel. The drill. Banyard gets hit by Jesse Nading. Hebron Fengupo in there as well. He's the rookie out of BYU.
Yep, he looks the part. There's no doubt about it. Fengupo. I just wanted to say it.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, I did it. Did it well.
You nailed it.
But he's 6 foot, 320 pounds, I think, or more. A really good, has the body type to play over the center.
Second and long. Daniel steps up and runs with it across the 25-yard line. Touched there by Nading. Give him a gain of 4 on the play.
You know, when you're a defensive lineman, and there's an opportunity there, Ian, to maybe get some playing time because there's a couple injuries up front right now. And if it doesn't go well for you in preseason, you know what happens is now that's bad for you, because when this waiver wire action starts to happen here soon, there are going to be so many players out there. Teams are going to be bringing them in right and left.
Daniel on 3rd and long. Knocked away. Daniel trying to hit Joe Morgan, and Alan Ball was there.
Nice play by Alan Ball. He was out there ready to make the interception. The last play when Chase Daniels threw it short, he's fighting for a job on this football team. Quite a few good defensive backs for the Texans. Alan Ball with Wade Phillips in Dallas. Good play that time.
And you said it, the cut-down days are coming. Monday down to 75, and then Friday down to 53. And that's when you're going to see a lot of activity on the waiver wire.
It's 32 times 37.
Morstead punts it out of bounds. Texans will have it early stages of this fourth quarter. 27-24 Saints. 27-24 New Orleans in front of Houston. Let's go down to the field right now. Leslie Visser standing by with a special guest.
Ian, as you guys talked about, so much offense in that first half. What did you see in your offense?
Yeah, you know, guys were executing at a high level, really playing well, playing hard, and you know, we got behind the 8 ball, hurting ourselves, you know, with some penalties and turnovers there early in the second quarter. But you know, we fought through some of those things, and you know, there are things that we got to clean up going into the regular season. But overall, we feel good about the execution.
We don't see your favorite receiver here, but he'll be okay, right?
Yeah, Dre, he'll be okay. You know, he's a tough guy. I think it was all precautionary. I'm not really sure. We'll have to just see.
What about for you? You missed the last 6 games with that foot injury. Any lingering effects, and how was the recovery?
You know, it was slow early on, you know, with this type, working with the foot, you know, all the things that you do on your foot, different angles you run on and everything. But it's fine. It's felt fine all at camp and working through the preseason games. So no lingering effects, just ready to go.
Except not speaking to Albert Hainsworth. What about you went to the playoffs last year? You know the Super Bowl is in this building. What is the minimum standard for you this year?
You know, the next step for this organization is a championship. You know, that's where our sights are set. But, you know, we got to take them one game at a time. And, you know, we're working towards that. We worked all off season towards getting ready to do that. But, you know, when the season comes, we just got to take them one at a time. But, you know, that's the, you know, goal in the end.
Looks good so far. Thank you. Ian.
All right, Leslie, Matt, thank you very much. Justin Forsett Accelerating out across the 30-yard line. You get the word from Matt about Andre Johnson, precautionary. Now we saw Andre in there for most of the first half.
Well, you know, we were told he was going to play half of what the starters were going to play because they didn't want to push him, because he does have lingering injuries. The one thing I've always noticed about players, when it's a foot injury, here comes the hamstring, here comes something else. It just keeps moving around in your body. So hopefully he gets it all straightened out. We're going to have a healthy 2012.
2 catches for 30 yards. Andre Johnson, he was limited last season to 7 games because of those hamstring issues. Jonathan Grimes hit by Junior Gillette and Barrett Ruud for a 2-yard pickup, 2nd and 8. So Ruud will head to the sideline. Lawrence Wilson, in his first year out of UConn, checks in. Clock is moving with 11:35 to play in this 4th quarter. Saints up by 3 on the Houston Texans. Yates knocked down. Yates couldn't get it off cleanly. Turk McBride with a push, looking for Keyshawn Martin. So a little bit more on Matt Schaub. Take a look at the kind of first half he put together.
Well, it was everything you'd want in a preseason game. He had to hold the football. He was under pressure. He made some driving throws down the field. How's that for touch? Beautiful throw over the top. And the other thing, which I think is really important, Ian, he got hit. And he got hit quite a few times. So he learned to deal with that, get used to it, know he's going to get bounced around, and you'd almost have to say this action tonight, he's ready for the regular season to start.
Timeout called by Yates. Texans will face a 3rd and 8 when we come back. Saints in front by 3. Nobody knows the game like a quarterback. Don't miss Phil Simms, Steve Berline, Rich Gannon as they join host Adam Shine, the premiere of NFL Monday QB. That's Monday, September 10th, 5 Eastern, only on CBS Sports Network. That is going to be huge.
Well, it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to talking to Rich Gannon, Steve Berline, and of course Adam Shine. You know, in case you haven't heard Adam Shine talk before, people. Is that a pretty good, quick imitation?
That's pretty good. I think you nailed it. Yeah. It was guttural.
It definitely is.
And that'll be on the CBS Sports Network every Monday. Phil Simms, a busy man. Yates brought down by Akeem Hicks. Rookie out of Regina.
Oh, just keep on talking, because boy, did they get excited about him. Oh my gosh, what a move up front. He gets by Smith and just comes rolling. He can run. He is big. Played in Regina in college, in Saskatchewan. How much do you think? I want to see some film. Do you think he dominated up there?
I would say he dominated, just off the top of my head.
To play there and to be a 3rd-round pick.
53-yard attempt for Shane Graham, trying to make this team the veteran. He nails it. We're tied at 27. Graham in his 11th year went to the Pro Bowl in 2005, and he just tied this one up. Shane Graham, after knocking through that long field goal, 53 yards, he will kick it off to Cord Parks for New Orleans. Graham in a battle with Randy Bullock, a Lou Groza Award winner out of Texas A&M, for the kicking spot in Houston. Parks, boy, it looked like he had a crease. He got slowed down and hit the 25-yard line. Well, the precautions being taken by the NFL in terms of injuries include a certified athletic trainer at every game. Up in the booth, that's Fred Robinson. He was assigned this game tonight in New Orleans, and the injury video review system, where he just keeps an eye open for anything that might look a little bit off injury-wise, where he can alert either sideline for something to look for to their training staff and their team doctors. That's a big step.
Oh, it's huge. It's huge, because there's been a lot of complaints about that. Also, the team can ask him to show us some views there. Now, coaches can't do it. It has to be medical staff,
right,
because they say, well, the coaches look at it, that's an unfair advantage on the field. So it's good. The final decision, though, whether the guy comes in or out of the game, still will be made by the team's medical staff. But it's just another process, another little thing to help the players out and make the game safer.
Daniel with a rush coming gets driven down by Whitney Merciless. They are very high on this young man out of Illinois, the number 26 pick who had 16 sacks last year for the Illini.
Yeah, he's made a play in every single preseason game now where he just jumps out. They know it. Comes untouched that time, but he's so fast that he can make it happen before Chase Daniels can get rid of the football. He can play as a down lineman with his hand on the ground and be a defensive end, and fast enough and nimble enough to be a linebacker too. So another good pass rusher for the Texans.
Merciless had a sack and a half against Carolina in the preseason opener. And look at Daniel go. Chase Daniel has got a first down across the 35-yard line. That's 14 yards for Daniel on the tuck and run.
Well, that's a good job by Chase Daniels. Now, when he goes head first, that makes him a runner with the football, so you can hit him any way you want.
And that's Rock Carmichael.
He's having a good training camp, too, trying to be. Well, Chase Daniels having some trouble with the snap out there. There's no doubt about that. That's the third time I've seen him double clutch the football.
Able to hit Joe Morgan on the slant. And it's Drew Brees after the run by Daniel.
Yeah, they'll talk about that. Hey, these quarterbacks here at this team, saw Pete Carmichael laughing. They had a nice little competition when practice is over. All the quarterbacks, Pete Carmichael, Joe Lombardi, the quarterback coach. Fun stuff. They do it every day, they say.
Wait a second. You're not telling the whole picture as Joe Banyard gets the carry. Whoa. Time out.
Well, I know, I'm going to tell the whole picture.
Because you participated.
They made me.
You participated in this game that they play. It's moving targets.
Right. Like
and
skeet shooting.
Yeah. And what was the result?
Well, I didn't win.
You did not win.
But I did throw beautiful spirals. So that's what I was happy about.
Just to rub it in, they told you that Kenny Chesney, country music star, visited, and he did win.
And he won. Oh, my gosh. They're not rubbing it on me.
There's Cadet. And a flag down. Well, I took it they were rubbing it on you, saying, hey, Kenny Chesney came in and won the thing.
Well, I didn't win.
Holding. Offense number 70. The 10-yard penalty. Replay first down.
And that's Marcel Jones, rookie out of Nebraska, 7th-round pick, called on the hold.
Hey, I wasn't the quarterback last year that set an all-time record throwing for yards. So if Kenny Chesney beat Drew Brees, that's the story.
Well, they said Chesney just exploded in glee.
Oh, I bet. Can you imagine? Oh, that's great. It was great.
Travaris Cadet is in there, 1st and 20 now with 7:36 to go in the fourth quarter. Out of the gun. A juggle and a catch. Cadet lowers the helmet and dives across midfield. Whitney Merciless put the pressure on Daniel, but he got rid of it to the tune of 16 yards.
Well, I'll tell you what, they're doing the screen plays we've talked about tonight. That's a nice throw by Chase Daniels, nice catch. But they're really giving their backups, and this is what I love. They're training them to be what they are. Wide open, let's keep pushing and be aggressive on the offensive side.
2nd and 4, Joe Banyard. And able to push that pile for a first down.
I know we didn't get to see everybody running the football tonight, but I think it's pretty evident when you see it, right, Ian? When you watch Cadet, you see Chris Ivory, you just know you're watching, very, very capable NFL running back.
The only one we didn't see was Darren Sproles, and that's because he's not in uniform. And Sproles, one of the most electrifying players in the NFL, a dynamic talent. On first down, Cadet. Oh, he got stamped. But Cadet handles it. Eddie Pleasant, rookie from Oregon, with the stick. 8-yard gain. 2nd and 2. New Orleans moving the ball here as we approach 6 minutes to go in this fourth quarter. 9th play of the drive.
Wait, set.
It's Cadet going down low. He picks up 3, needed 2 for a first down. Well, the personnel on this squad, as you said, they're stacked, and that's thanks in large part to Mickey Loomis, who runs the football operations, executive VP, general manager, also going to be involved with the New Orleans Hornets, because that is now part of the whole big picture here in New Orleans. Tom Benson, the owner of the Saints, bought the Hornets in April. They got the #1 pick. Anthony Davis, they're feeling good about that team. And Mickey Loomis is going to be involved helping to run that squad as well. Mr. Benson, we had a chance to see him earlier in the weekend, and he was in a really good mood, as he normally is.
Yeah, so you talk about Mickey Loomis, so boy, you said it right. What do you do with the running back situation here? You're going to have to let some, well, it's just a sign that's the way it is. When you're a good football team, you're going to have to release some good players.
Daniel, it goes through the hands of Joe Morgan, and a flag thrown. Rock Carmichael. Now we should mention Mickey Loomis, the GM, is suspended for the first 8 games of this 2012 season, all part of the fallout.
Interference, defense number 20, 5 foul, automatic first down.
From Bounty Gate.
Well, it's like clockwork. In the slot, they love it. Look it off, safety in the middle, can't make the play. And Rock Cartwright, you just have to know the inside receivers, 30 in, it's going to be up the field.
That's a 22-yard penalty. They are inside the 10. A first and goal for the Saints. 4:51 to play in the fourth. We're tied at 27. Banyard picks up 4. It'll be second and goal. Eddie Pleasant will get credit for the stop.
It is. It's really impressive. I know it's backup players, but just watching the Saints, Pete Carmichael, the way they're running this offense, and it's, you know, too, last year I think somebody said the Saints are a finesse offense. No, they're not. They can run the ball with power at you. They can do all the other stuff that they...
Here's Banyard running up the middle.
They get you mesmerized by the passing game, and the next thing you know, you're getting run over.
Yeah, and the thing also about the continuity, Pete Carmichael has been with Sean Payton for 6 years. It's the same schedule, the same procedures, and Carmichael said the thing about Sean is he always let the coaches coach. So Carmichael felt as if he had a handle, A, on how Sean likes to do it, and obviously some of the wrinkles that he was able to put in last year when he started calling the plays himself.
That's right, he called him, and when Sean Payton was hurt, when he got healthy, he still let Pete Carmichael call the plays.
Third and goal. Daniel caught. Touchdown, Joe Morgan. The Saints take the lead here in the fourth quarter.
Well, Joe Morgan has stood out tonight, too. That was an excellent pass by Chase Daniels. And Joe Morgan, they've talked about maybe he drops a few passes here and there, but he's got the speed, and he has shown this preseason he wants some playing time at wide receiver.
Long drive, 13 plays, 75 yards. And the hookup, Daniel to Morgan.
I think it was a clean catch. They're holding it up for a second. Looks like he caught it cleanly.
It's funny, the camaraderie between Breeze and Daniel. And he has been pumping him up the whole way. Oh boy. Did he secure it? Did he cradle it? Because it did look like there was some contact with the ball hitting the ground. Did he have it in his possession?
I'm going to say yes. But it's going to be under review.
And the first one tonight. That looks like we're going to go to that second level, and we are. Don King is going to take a look-see.
And the difference this year, well, when he looks at the, go ahead.
This is big. Don King, when he goes under the hood, the fans will see exactly what Don King is seeing simultaneously. And that was not the case in previous years under review. The official would go into the review booth, and it was up to the game operations staff as to whether or not they put the review up there.
He has his arms around it. And even though the nose of the football touched the ground, to me, that is not enough to overturn. He's got possession before it gets there, so I'm going to say it's going to be a catch. Let me ask you a couple. Do you think it's a catch or not?
I think it is a catch.
Okay, and do you think, you talked about it, the fans are going to see these now? Is this going to be good?
Oh, this is a good thing.
Oh, it's good, okay.
Yeah, for the in-stadium experience.
Yeah, there it is.
They are looking exactly at what he is looking at.
Yeah, no, it is good. You know why? Because I think sometimes the fans are sitting there going, well, how do they make a decision when they see whatever replays come up on the board, not as conclusive as the ones the officials are going to see underneath that hood.
Now, here's the difference, though, because I don't want there to be a misconception out there. The game operations staff, let's say if it is a road team where you're not sure, maybe it benefits the road team, they don't have to play it ahead of time, if you know what I mean, to give the coaches a free look down on the sideline.
Oh, I see what you're saying, yes.
So that part is still up in the air.
After review, the play stands as called. Touchdown.
All right, Don. Saints fans agree, and Aaron Cromer wearing the headset.
Yeah, he goes, this head coaching thing's not that hard.
You think that's what he's thinking?
Yeah, it's just, I got it.
Aaron Cromer came in for our production meeting. That was the first of his coaching career. Sat down with him and Joe Vitt. Vitt is a big personality, and Cromer had a presence about him. You know, this is something the Saints believe is going to work when the smoke clears. Next weekend, CBS Sports kicks off the college football season with a special trip to Dublin, Ireland. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish take on longtime rival, the Midshipmen of Navy. Vern Lundquist, Gary Danielson, Tracy Wolfson, and the rest of our CBS college football team will be on hand. Notre Dame Navy live from Dublin, Ireland, 9 a.m. Eastern next Saturday on the Home Depot College Football.
Did you see Notre Dame's new helmets? I mean, I don't know if they're just like a one game. Is that what it is? One game? Here, yeah, well, they should be one game.
I knew you were headed that way.
Man, well, I didn't know. I would have never guessed it was Notre Dame looking at that helmet.
Kickoff by Thomas Morstead. And it'll be a touchback. Trendon Holiday. It sailed right over his head. More fourth quarter action when we come back. The road to Super Bowl 47 begins September 9th. NFL on CBS kicks it off with regional action. Phil will be with Jim Nantz. New England at Tennessee. Also Indy at Chicago. Buffalo at the Jets. Miami and Houston. Jacksonville at Minnesota. It all begins with JB, Dan, Coach, Shannon, and Boomer. The NFL Today presented by Southwest Airlines. Everybody at CBS Sports excited for the start of the 2012 NFL season and Super Bowl 47 right here at the Superdome. And Jim and Phil will have the call for you. On first down, Yates still in there. Broke it up almost. Intercepted. Kadarin Anderson over there to make the play against the Texans.
Well, this is the first time I've actually called a game inside this dome. I like it. I like the booth, but I like the atmosphere, the stadium, the lights, everything. I don't even feel like I'm in an indoor arena, which I love.
2nd and 10. Yates knocked out of his hands, recovered. McBride got it. But the Texans able to pounce on it with Shelley Smith.
Well, the Texans are going to be upset by the pass protection that T.J. Yates has gotten in the second half, because they like this backup line. There's some players out there. Brandon Brooks, Ben Jones, a draft pick from Georgia, playing center, guard also. And they feel good about their backup, so they expect good protection when their second-team quarterback goes out there.
Yeah, good performance by Turton McBride, 6-year veteran who is going to be asked to do a lot more in the absence of Will Smith following the suspension for 4 games. Yates goes down. It's Akeem Hicks. And you believe that these backup defensive tackles are going to have an impact on this New Orleans Saints defense.
I really do. Akeem Hicks is, they just say he's raw. And then But what they're really saying, wow, is he talented? He's so big. I like Tyron Walker, too, number 75. They just jump out at you. Big presence inside. They're athletic. They can push the pocket. And, of course, no matter what, you're not going to be able to push them around in the run game.
Jones punting. Greg Camarillo waiting for it. Short punt. Camarillo moves forward to get it. And veers out of bounds inside the 40-yard line. Now, Phil, we know that you are in mid-season, preseason form.
There you go.
Which means we got to deal with some of the storylines of this 2012 NFL season. And we know on Mondays on CBS Sports Network, you're going to be focusing in on the quarterbacks, which means you're going to be focusing in on some rookie quarterbacks this season. You experienced it. You lived it in this league. One of the toughest things to do is come in and play that position in your first year.
Yeah, you know, I would say it used to be. I don't know anymore as you look at it. They're so well prepared. Andrew Luck and Russell Wilson have been unbelievable in their outing so far. I don't know what Andrew Luck did tonight. Tannehill's had some good experience. I thought Brandon Whedon had a chance when he played Green Bay. So these young quarterbacks, that, I hate to say it, that cliche that it's over.
You think so?
They're ready to play.
Is it because of the offenses in college football are just so much more advanced, they come in ready to go?
No question. It's right behind my house is our town football field. And here's what they did today, 14. Boy, Andrew Luck, big numbers again. Jeez, it's a Bruce Arians, they got to be ecstatic up there. But as I go in the youth football, 4th and 5th grade, as I go over there and watch them sometimes, they are throwing the football. They're throwing it that young. High school, college is out of control. So now they get all this wonderful experience. They know a lot of the simple things that you need to know in the NFL, and they come in and they're just not intimidated.
Well, you said something a couple of days ago that absolutely wowed me, because at Morehead State you said one year you threw for over 2,000 yards and you thought, oh my goodness, I can't believe I threw for over 2,000 yards in a season. And that's nothing. Corey Hall with the catch there.
Yeah, it just showed how much it's changed. I threw for 4,000 in the NFL, and that's almost unbreakable. That's just incredible. and if you throw for 4,000 now, you finish about 18th in the NFL behind all the other guys that are breaking it. So the game has changed. The receivers are better than ever before. They spread it out. The rules, you name it, it's all there for the quarterback to have success if the team is building their football team through the quarterback.
1984, the year that Phil Simms went over 4,000 yards. Eli Manning of the Giants last year nearly threw for 5,000.
You know what catches me off guard too? I saw Andrew Luck in college, and I just said, well, he's bigger than everybody. We'll see how that translates to the NFL. Then I watch him play his first 2 games. I go, wow, he still looks bigger than everybody. So they are just walking into this league, and it just doesn't look like they look like they fit right away.
On 3rd and 7 with 2:04 to play, Travaris Cadet is in. Sean Canfield, a young quarterback, is in for New Orleans. Canfield, that one didn't come out of his hand cleanly as Rennie Moore applied the pressure. We hit the 2-minute warning here in New Orleans. (34-27), New Orleans leading Houston. Arian Foster, big smile on his face. He worked really hard to get that contract, and he said last year, I admit it, there was a feeling of I can exhale now. But now once he got the money, he said, I want to prove that the organization was right. So there's still incentive in his head to go out and put up big numbers and dominate the way that he has over the last couple of years. Garrett Hartley on for a 53-yard field goal. Hartley, knuckleball, doesn't get there. So Hartley in that battle with the veteran John Casey. Score remains the same, 34-27, New Orleans.
Well, New Orleans, they wanted to see that, so it was a good moment in that kicking battle.
legitimately now, you follow this league week in, week out. There's so many changes, opinions flying around.
Right.
Do you look at these two teams at having a legitimate shot of playing on this same field for Super Bowl 47?
Yes, I think they both have a chance. If you mean, honestly, I think Houston has a greater chance because they're.
Pass over the middle, Yates.
I think they have a greater chance because I look at them as one of the top 2, 3, at worst 4 in the AFC. There are so many good teams, I think, right now in the NFC. The battle's going to be much, much tougher for New Orleans.
Grimes with the catch, and they'll do it again. Yates to Grimes. No timeouts for Houston. Clock continues to roll down to 1:28 to play in this fourth quarter.
I see no glaring weaknesses when I look at Houston. Gary Kubiak's yelling at the guys, get lined up. Well, they're working this a lot, even for the backups in a situation like this. Pretty simple.
Now look, backups, there's a chance you're going to play the way this league is set up.
You're right. Through bad play, injuries, nicks, whatever, there's tons of it. But on the other side, Ian, just to answer your question, for the Saints, there are a lot of things I really like. I think their defensive line is going to be so much better. I think once they learn this defense, it's going to be a different style. It's going to change their game management. But the linebacking core getting healthy and Steve Spagnuolo having time to get his defense in, those are the things that I wonder if they can get it done.
Just over a minute to play. Yates, a couple of pumps out of the pocket. And Yates throws it away. We talked to Malcolm Jenkins the other day, safety for the New Orleans Saints, and asked him about Spagnuolo. He said, look, he's trusted us with a lot. He's put in a lot, but we have cerebral players. He's not a yeller. He holds us accountable. The one thing he did say, because he makes all the calls, he said, with Spag's defense, it's like learning French.
Yeah, oh my gosh. I took 2 years of French in high school, I want you to know, and I can't speak a word.
You got nothing.
I hope he holds it a lot longer than I did.
I took like 7 years of Spanish, and I'm right there with you. Donde está el baño? That's all I got to this day.
Well, it sounded good. I don't know what you said.
Where's the bathroom?
Oh, okay.
3rd and 10. Joaquin Iglesias. And very, very close. Needed 10 yards and looks like 8.5.
Yeah, the thing is here for TJ Yates, don't rush it. Settle down. Make sure you see the defense because this is 4th down.
4th down. Yates glances off the hands of Brian Johnson, the veteran, and that'll do it. Elbert Mack with the coverage, 32 seconds left. And the New Orleans Saints are going to get the preseason win over the Houston Texans. These two teams played in an entertaining game week 3 of 2011. 40-33 win for the Saints. Breeze went for 370 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Wow. Well, it was a very entertaining preseason game. I think that both teams answered a lot of questions. I think they're going to be happy with it. Fumbles by young guys, they can correct that quickly. Now it's just about, hey, make a few cuts and get ready for that opening day game, which is coming.
Houston Texans will open against the Miami Dolphins in week 1. The Saints will host the Washington Redskins. Phil, a lot of fun. Really great being with you once again. Have a great season along with Jim Nance and your crew.
And you too. Good luck.
Final score here in New Orleans. The Saints 34 and the Houston Texans 27. We know that final preseason game now around the league is just a bunch of backups and avoid any injuries heading into the regular season. So for these starters, this is it. Coming up next, for most of you, your late local news. For Phil Simms, Leslie Visser, the rest of our CBS crew, I'm Ian Eagle saying so long from New Orleans. The Saints defeat the Texans here in the preseason matchup at the Superdome. You've been watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 47, right here in the Big Easy.